Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book 91. We are here giving you guys the fans live talking about Harry and Meghan. Let me take this 30 seconds off because we were off that. Talking about Harry and Meghan, their interview with Oprah Winfrey, because it went down a storm, baby. It went down the storm, baby. Listen, there's a lot to talk about, and obviously, like I said, I want to give you guys an opportunity to say your piece. Before I do, I've got my notes which I want to go through with you guys and kind of just break it down in terms of what actually happened and explain it from a chronological point of perspective. Because this, if you guys have seen my videos, I've done videos on Harry and Meghan. I've done it on Piers Morgan as well and stuff like that. So I'm not new to this. I've been doing it for a little while. But what's really interesting is this particular interview. Let me tell you something. Meghan, well freaking played. Listen, sometimes you can't beat a certain demographic by getting angry. You beat them at their own game. You understand? You don't beat them by getting angry. I don't know if you guys remember me from years ago when I said to you, listen, don't get angry, you get smart. You understand? Don't get crazy, you get smart. You understand? And that's how Meghan played the game, okay? She came correct, she chose the right tactics, she knew how she was going to play the game. Do you know what I'm saying? Came with a story, came with it, quite eloquent, okay? Knew how to hit all the angles with the stories. Her and Harry had their thing on lock, blood. Yeah, came with a one little bit of spice in the conversation that got people buzzing. As soon as I get home. That note was off, but don't worry about that. Anyway, listen. So as soon as he dropped, somebody questioned the color of my child, and I said, "That's it. The game is over. The game is over." You understand, right? And they left. They left enough. They left enough on it for people to be like, "What the hell's going on in the royal family's house, bro? It's looking a bit mad." But there's a lot of things we need to discuss. Okay, a lot of things I need to discuss with you and break it down with you, because it won't make sense until I break it down. And then we're gonna get you guys to come on and say your piece. Okay, cool. Now I know some of you probably emailed me already, that you want to come on and say your piece. Let me just check my emails, guys. I'm just checking through my emails and see what you guys are saying. But yeah, we're gonna have to kick it off. Yes, it's gonna get a bit of a mad thing still. Okay, 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 okay. All right, cool. Okay, I see a few of you already. A few already added me, boy. Okay, all right, cool. Okay, let me break this down for you. Let's start here. I want you to understand something first of all. Harry, okay, mother is Diana, okay, and now Diana is was part of the monarchy, was part of the establishment, was the wife of Prince Charles, okay. I wish I had videos, but I can't do that for you right now. Now, Diana was the mother of Harry, and she was married to Prince Charles. This is very very important because let me tell you something. You see, God is a very interesting God. He knows how to bring things full circle. Now, Prince Charles did Diana dirty. Like, listen, did her dirty. My man out here was doing the dirts and the cheating whilst he was with Diana, with Camilla. Okay, so Camilla, who we see now as the I don't know what they call her name. What's it, Prince of Wales or Princess of Wales, whatever her name is now. Okay, she was on the outside. She was originally Charles's love. That's who Charles wanted to be with, but instead he got Diana. Didn't really love Diana, who is the mother of two kids in this case, which was Harry and William. Okay, yeah. Now, when obviously, oh man, when Charles obviously did Diana dirty, did her dirty. I think, you know what, Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson song, "Dirty Diana." Oh, listen, I think. I think you knew something, Michael. I knew you knew something. Okay, so obviously then unfortunately Diana passed away, and let me not say passed away. Passed away is the wrong word. So that means that someone passed away silently and gently. She was murdered. For a lot of us in the UK, she was murdered. For a lot of us in UK, Diana was murdered. Conspiracy murder, not even murder like someone, conspiracy murder. It has never been solved. They blame the paparazzi, but I'm sorry, she was murdered. Okay? Now, some would say that maybe the grandma is included. I can't say 100% because off of my head, I don't want it to be off. You understand? I don't have the evidence. But it sounds like the upper echelon got involved and did her dirty, blood. And the reason why they did her dirty is simply because she did not fit the mold. That's number one. Number two, also, apparently she was also doing her also dirty deeds when she found out that Charles no longer loved. And listen, I want you to understand something. Not only did Charles cheat, man was giving her the silent treatments, man was giving her separation, passive aggressive behavior. He didn't want her no more. Okay, so Diana was left with no choice. Okay, all right. So in the end, when you're starved, what happens? Potentially she went elsewhere and got her fills elsewhere. Apparently with Diode Fad, I mean, what's his name? Diode Fadi or something? Fati? I always forget the guy's name, man. Right? Basically another guy, right? Stay hydrated. Cool. So now, yeah. Oh man. So basically, yeah. All throughout, obviously the situation, the crown, the head, the firm, the royal family, they are not happy with Diana because she's doing things different to how they did it. Not only that, I want to tell you something. Dodi Fayed, yes, thank you very much. Not only that, Diana has a heart for people, and I want you to understand this. I've always said this, yeah. I've always said this. The people with the purest hearts always die early. The more pure your heart is, the more you die early. Because it's like you see things in a more innocent, you see things you want to help, you see things that don't make sense, but people want to uphold certain structures that benefit certain people that are in power. And so you see with Diana, her heart, yeah, let me tell you something, this woman would charity work. Hey, it's not like charity work where someone does it, when someone comes down to your school and does a photo op. This is not what Diana does. When she comes down to anywhere, she's not only getting involved, but she shows her heart to people. She gets mixed, she gets dug in, she gets stuck in, she rolls up her sleeves, she gets in there. So although she's royalty, you'll see the way she moves is a people person. And I really believe that a lot of the monarchy didn't like Diana because of this. And the reason why is because it's hard. It's hard to control somebody when, first of all, they don't want to be controlled, and two, they are loved by people. Like, let me tell you something. Diana I think she was loved more than the Queen. If I'm honest with you, I think she's loved more than Queen. Because when Diana goes out, the droves of people that come out, hey, que bro capa, hey, everybody be loving Diana, right? Cool. So now we get a situation, and you have to understand, listen, the royal family, as much as it is a family, it's a business. Okay, and within that business, there are people who are vying for attention. There are narcissists. There are people in there who are jealous, egomaniacs. You name it. Like any normal family, they got some madness in there. Okay, and the trouble is that Diana wanted to do things that would help. You see, in this world, what you think people are helping with, they really aren't helping unless it benefits them. They don't want to help. People in upper echelons don't want to help unless it benefits them. Stay hydrated. They don't want to do that, And so what was happening here is that now the public consensus towards Diana is that she is like blood. She's amazing. She's the best that can ever be. Oh, this is one of the peoples. We saw her as royalty. Like if Diana came to me, yeah, let me tell you, I was young then, but when I did the research, when I looked at it, I said, if Diana came to me, I would lay flat. I would lay flat. I'll prostrate like this. Flat. Do you know why? Because when you meet people who have power, but never look to exert it over you, you give them honor, man. Because you can see people and see that, hey, that person would it has a level where they are privileged, but don't hold it over you. And when you see someone like that, that's dangerous. Me, I would lay flat. Diana, yay! Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, because listen, I don't know if you understand. Like, if you meet someone like this, you will lay flat. She wouldn't even tell you. You laying flat. She would even tell you to rise, but you would lay flat some more. You understand? Yeah, listen, don't get twisted. I love my God too. I'm not saying that you shouldn't lay for G. I'm just saying I would lay flat. Why? Because the person has a level of humility. Someone said too much. She was a human. No, it's. I'm giving honor where honor's due, man. It's not like a big deal like that, man. Trust me. And besides, God is more concerned with your heart posture, not how you're lying on the floor. Listen, I would lay flat because I respect the humility. Now, she gets killed in Paris. Okay. All right, she gets killed in Paris, being chased by what you call it, by the press and everything like that, yeah. And the press are chasing her, and there's something that happened in the tunnel where we're not 100% sure. The time frame is not adding up. There was a chance to help her, and they did help her. It's been a mad thing, yeah. Now, there's always been rumors about Harry and the fact that maybe he isn't necessarily Prince Charles's son, yeah. There's always been rumors like that. Now, if that's true or not, we don't know 100%. I don't care. All I do care about, okay, is the way that Harry reacted. This has been coming. Let me tell you this now. What we've seen with Harry and Meghan has been coming. They knew it was coming. Let me tell you something. This has been coming just like Jesus has been coming and ready to be coming into the world. They knew this was coming because the moment Harry, yeah, the moment that they forced Harry to go and walk behind the casket of his mother when he didn't want to, he had started. It had triggered him. And if you watch his progress, Harry, he was always the guy. Someone said African angels. Harry was always the guy. Harry was always the guy that was odd. It was the ginger hair. It was the behavior of Harry. Let me tell you something. Let me be frank with you. There was a time where Harry did something which was really crazy. There was a crazy time where Harry had been coming, where Harry did a party and did dress up, yeah, and he dressed up in a Nazi clothing, okay, and he dressed up in Nazi clothing. Let me tell you something. Listen, bruv, I didn't agree with it, but I said this guy's got balls, because for you to be royalty and you to dress up in Nazi, you've got some balls. You've got some real big balls to do this, right? Because you can see the following Harry, he was always the guy that was odd, the one that was doing something different, always the guy that was doing, he was just basically, listen, the guy was literally going off the rails. But I think from the day that his mum passed, this guy set it in his heart, he's going to do them dirty. He's gonna do them dirty. Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. He was gonna do them dirty. For the whole entire time, he was gonna do them dirty. He had planned it in his heart to do them dirty. Hey, listen. This guy, man, he does not care what the monarchy says. In his head, he's not going to be next on the throne. So for him, it also added to the fact that I'm just going to do what I want to do. Ain't no one going to tell me what to do. So he has always been the one who was gonna go out of the rails. Okay. Now here's the thing. You see, Satan tried to do the same with Jesus. He thought by killing Jesus, he would end the tyranny. He thought when he took out Jesus, that would be the end of it. But when you took out Jesus, you signed your fate. The same thing, I'm just making jokes, but here, the same thing also happened with Harry. The moment they took out Diana, all they did was transfer that same spirit to Harry. In fact, they gave Harry more impetus to move mad. Had they kept Diana alive, this boy would have never gone off the ropes. He would have never got the ropes. He would have never gone off the ropes. And then the problem what happened was also as well. Let me tell you something. Harry, yeah? Harry, this guy. Let me tell you something. Harry, I love this guy. Let me tell you why Harry is a madness, right? It's not just him moving mad, everything like that. This guy also, the girls that you see him, he's got a taste. The boy has got a taste. There was a time I remember I think it was in Africa. And the way he was dancing with one girl, I think he got a little wine. I think he got a little wine still. He got a little wine, and the way he tasted the wine, you could see that he was intoxicated by the wine of the girl. I said, this guy, he's not like the rest of them. His spirit is cool with people. He's down to earth. He's ready to mingle with people. He's not trying to be a part of the echelon. He's wanted out for ages. Not only that, he had been saying it from time, leaving hints like that and everything like that outside, right? Saying, the press are the ones that got his mom killed. He had been telling for time he wanted out. He had been saying it. Listen, before Meghan came, he had been saying it. Now, what happened when Meghan came was she was just a connective. I remember a time with my boy, yeah. Before I got saved and gave my life to Christ, you know what I'm saying? Before I gave my life to Christ, okay. I remember I had a girlfriend, and one of my boys, one of my boys, like we became friends later in life, right? But before he came, I was pretty much a good guy. I was one of the good guys, yeah. I was one of the good guys, all right. As soon as he came into my life, I became an avenger. Okay, I became an avenger. As soon as he came into my life, I became an avenger, right? But it wasn't his fault. He was just the catalyst to unleash what was already in me. So when Meghan met Harry, she was only the catalyst to unleash what was already in him. He was planning to leave. He just didn't know how to leave. Yeah, the crown needs to be dismantled. It's the drain on the British economy. The guy was ready to leave. He was ready to leave for time. Meghan was only the catalyst to bring that about much quicker. But he had always in his heart and his head wanted to do business. You understand? Yeah? And it was always going to happen because his spirit was never going to settle in a place where they were going to control him. He's a free spirit. You can't control a free spirit. Okay? And so it's so crazy, and so the situation with Harry now, okay, when he gets Meghan, okay, because before Meghan he was dating another girl, nice pretty white girl, and it didn't work out. Then he met Meghan. Let me tell you something. The press were going mad at Meghan because she wasn't the typical girl that they usually have, right? Number two, she was biracial, or mixed race, biracial, right? So now, okay, as soon as she came into alignment with Harry, at first it was like, Harry's dating a mixed race girl. It's not a problem at all. Yeah, just don't marry him. Stay hydrated. It was like, yeah. Meghan, it's cool. Yeah, it's cool to be around. Just don't marry her. Yeah, just don't marry her. That was all they were asking. Just don't marry her. Okay? Yeah, you can. He's going for a phase. Okay, don't worry. He's going for a phase. He's just exploring. He'll come back to his senses. He's just exploring. Yeah, yeah. Just don't marry her. Yeah, that's all. We don't mind you playing around. Just don't marry her. All right, cool. Then it got serious. It got really serious in their relationship, right? And as it got serious in their relationship now, all people are taking notice. And one thing you have to understand about UK, which is very much similar to America but different, racism. Okay, race. So we usually have the class and then racism. So like if you you have it intersectionalizing. Sorry about the mic there. Sorry. You have class and then you have racism, right? And you have the intersectionality of those two. Look at my hand, it's a bit dry. Don't watch that. So now obviously you've got a woman, you've got Meghan Markle, who's coming from America, who's an an actress, etc., etc. And you've got Prince Harry, who is a prince. What the hell is a prince doing with a woman who's an actor? Yeah, but it gets like that, right? And so the racism in UK is built on structures, okay, but the racism is silent, but it kills. Okay, the racism is silent, but it kills. So they what they do, British people, what they do is they do this. He's funny, isn't he? And as soon as you turn your back, that nigger. They don't tell you to your face that you're a nigger. They do it behind your back. British people don't want to do things in front of you. That's not how racism works in UK. No, 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 no. We need racism to be covert. Okay? All right? Yeah? Why don't you go back to your country? That's what you're going to get. Yeah? Why don't you go back to, where is it, Africa or something? That's what you're going to get. Right? You're going to get that level of racism. It's not going to be nigger. It's not going to be you. You know what I'm saying? Like, the racism here is so undercurrent. Yeah? Undercurrent. Yeah, you get things like, so you're kind, you're kind, they love a bit of chicken, don't they? You're kind, don't they? Your chicken, your kind love a bit of chicken. It's you don't hear it. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear it. You just kind of feel it coming underneath stuff. It doesn't hit you straight away. You almost have to. It's really microaggressions that you have to pick up on. That they say these things. You're aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're pretty aggressive, isn't it? I bet you lot, you probably got the little, you got the long thing, haven't you? You got the long thing, haven't you? You know what I mean? Huh? I heard you little, your type has got the little, you know all that in sex and that. You got the little, yeah, not so little, is it? You know what I'm saying? Oh, your kind's pretty fast, isn't it? Yeah, your kind's pretty fast. That's how they do racism. It's not violent to your face. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, yes, we have the institutional racism, and all that kind of stuff, but you don't see it direct like that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's very rare you hear the violent racism towards you. The most you're gonna get from someone is go back to your country. You know what I'm saying? My ancestors were here. We built this country. They don't know their history. We built this country. We did. Yeah, that's what they're going to tell you to, right? Get back on that banana boat. That's what you're going to hear from them, right? Or, you know what I'm saying? You're black. And that's kind of where it goes to. It doesn't really go that much deeper, right? So it's undercurrent and stuff like that, right? So with obviously Harry and Meghan, the press, let me tell you something. Prince Piers Morgan, I don't like calling people lightly names. Is a prick. I'm sorry, he's a prick. I'll tell you why he's a prick. Because he's a bully, and I honestly believe if he was a normal person, he'd be police would get involved. You cannot keep targeting a woman over and over again because she doesn't want to talk to you. Because she doesn't want to have a conversation with you anymore, you are stalking her. Blood, get off her neck, bro. Like, listen, because she doesn't want to talk to you no more. And the thing is, here it is, and this is how it works in the UK. Why I'm saying to you guys about about the racism, how it works. So see how and for Piers Morgan, let me put it into my banner so we know we're talking about Piers Morgan quickly. I don't want to talk too long, but about Piers Morgan because like I think you guys know. Piers Morgan. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Piers Morgan. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let me play a clip. Let me see if I can get a clip for you guys to play. But Piers Morgan. Yeah. The problem with Piers Morgan is he's a I think he's a misogynist, bruv. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think he's a misogynist, right? And I'm gonna play a clip for you guys so you guys can click it and watch. So just give me a second. I'm gonna get the clip for you guys as well, right? But he's a misogynist. The guy, I think he hates women. Like the way he goes on about the girl is crazy, bruv. Yeah. Okay. So let me just get this for you guys and see if you guys can see it. Okay, so we're gonna watch this clip, guys. Listen to this. Oh, hold on. I'm gonna get you guys a clip. Share audio. Tap. Do. Yeah. Okay. Go. Let's go. There we go. Cool. All right. Listen to this. This was on today. Yeah. That guy is obsessed with the girl. It doesn't make sense, bro. He's a stalker, blood.
Queen.
I love it. 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 You know when you give it to them and they're stuck and not sure what they're going on, They don't know what's going on. Listen, let me tell you something, yeah? This is probably the first time I've ever seen somebody stick it on him and he can't get a word in. This guy, when he speaks, he never gives anybody a word, bruv. He never gives a word to anybody. Today, Dr. Shola gave him something, right? So let me show you something, another clip as to what I mean by racism in UK. Okay, I want to show you another clip. That's what I mean by racism in UK. That it's the undercurrents of racism. It's not direct. Okay, it's not direct, but let me show you another clip with Piers Morgan, guys. Let me show you another clip.
Direct with eye contact. She was.
Let me show you another clip. This is Piers Morgan, yeah. This guy, bruv, it's a mezzanine, bruv. Listen, watch this clip.
Very intelligent. I thought very smart, very charming, very warm, very direct with eye contact. She was a really nice person, and she seemed to me to have a sense about her of being concerned about issues, concerned about the planet, the environment, women's rights. She's got that campaigning streak too. But I really liked her. You know, I mean, I'm just sad I lost her as a friend. It's like Harry. You could have thought of me here, buddy.
You're quite bitter about this.
Well, I'm not bitter, just sad.
Yes.
Mainly because I don't get the Suits episodes, and that really kills me. But also, I just thought we were friends, Meghan. What happened? But I get it because Harry, the moment it became serious, there's no way Harry wants Meghan Markle anywhere near media people, just period. Doesn't mean I haven't ruled out that I might get an invite to the wedding.
So you haven't yet?
No, but I just think Meghan will be sitting there thinking, you know what, I owe that guy one. I really owe that guy.
What does she owe you?
She owes me.
Listen to this, guys. Listen to this.
Media people, just period. Doesn't mean I haven't ruled out that I might get an invite to the wedding.
So you haven't yet?
No, but I just think Meghan will be sitting there thinking, you know what, I owe that guy one. I really owe that guy.
What does she owe you?
She owes me an invitation to the wedding to make up for cutting me dead.
See, something I know about men, okay, which something about men. Let me tell you something. As a man, right? I've had to work on my privilege, right? I've had to work on my levels of entitlement. Okay, let me get some water. Listen, I had a workout earlier on, so listen, my mouth is dry. Look, something that us men, have to work on, is levels of entitlement. Yeah, it's the levels of entitlement breed misogyny and misogyny, right? The levels of entitlement in you because of your privilege makes you hate women, okay? And if you don't understand that, you say some bollocks like this, what he just said, sorry my language, right? You say some craziness like this, that he said, she owes me an invitation to the wedding because of what? Because of what? Because she cut you dead. Listen to what he said. No, let me play that last part again for you. It's scary. Listen to what he's saying. It's scary what he actually just said. It's a level of madness to say what he just said. Listen to it again.
Meghan Markle anywhere near media people, just period. Doesn't mean I haven't ruled out that I might get an invite to the wedding.
So you haven't yet?
No, but I just think Meghan will be sitting there thinking, you know what, I owe that guy one. I really owe that guy.
What does she owe you?
She owes me an invitation to the wedding to make up for cutting me dead.
See, they were laughing. The woman laughed at the end, but what she doesn't realize, what she doesn't realize, okay, is that is not a joke. The moment he said, she owes me an invite to the wedding because she cut me dead. You sound like them guys on the street, okay, who approach a girl and the girl says, I'm not interested. And then you say you're butters anyway. And and what he's done is he's taken it to another level, because remember in UK, it's about class and it's about racism. Okay. Now, when you've got class and racism working against you, it's a double hit. And what he's used is leverage of the press, because he worked at the time and point for Daily Mail and them things there. Yeah. Okay. He is now, okay, at a point in time, been writing articles about Meghan Markle, calling her all sorts of names. Basically, now he doesn't like her. You've become one of those guys who, when a girl rejects them, you suddenly become like, oh, you're ugly, you're butters, you're not good looking. But when you were approaching, you thought she was a ting since sliced bread. You thought she was the best thing since sliced bread with butter upon the top, lad. But suddenly when she's cut you out and she's not dealing with you no more, probably because she sensed the narcissism from you, you decided now that you deserve to have an invite to wedding. And if she doesn't, it's because she owes you one. That's an insufferable level of entitlement. That's scary. No, that's scary. Listen. Let me tell you something. That's scary. Any man out there who behaves like Piers Morgan, you are a danger to women out there. Because that level of entitlement, okay, causes you to harm the opposite sex. Because you think that you deserve this. You think that you owed it. That energy is the same thing I see in Red Pill communities. The same kind of energy. They owe you something. Do you understand? So now you're in the press, and I want to see if I can get some more from him, and see if I can get. I saved some stuff, so I want to make sure. I want to see if I can get some stuff as well. Where did I go to? Let me see if I can get what I was putting on here, because honestly, this guy Piers Morgan's. Let me see. Look, let's see what he's put up this morning. Okay, if you want to see some of his tweets, yeah. Okay, look, I'm gonna go on Piers Morgan's stuff, yeah. Let's have a look at here. Okay, let me go on to Piers Morgan's thing. I'm gonna go on to his Twitter. Okay, this guy, honestly, has lost it. No. Will Smith, he's lost it. Like, bruv, there's just levels. And you just don't go past them, and he's going past them, right? He's been out for this woman for time. I just don't understand it. Like, it's too much, blood. Listen, if the girl don't want you, the girl don't want you. All right, let's get it. Let me get on for you guys. I'm on his Twitter. Okay, cool. Look, Piers Morgan's page. Okay, on Piers Morgan's page. Look at his. Look at his page. Look at this. So this is his tweet earlier on today. Look. This is tweets. The two big questions from that interview: who was allegedly racist to Harry about his baby? Who allegedly told Meghan she can't have any help when she told him felt suicidal? The Sussexes could prevent a lot of damage and rumor mongering if they tell us. Okay, this is one of his tweets. Okay. Again, another tweet that he talks about. Let's talk about. Where is it? Now he's talking about, obviously he feels like he's been silenced because, and this is how as you lot call it Karen, yeah? You lot call it Karen behavior. This is what he does. So instead of now taking responsibility for his behavior, look what he's doing. He's now trying to flip the script. He's now going, Piers Morgan he believes he's been silenced after complaining to 7.7 million Twitter followers on the TV show he hosts every morning, and his column for the Daily Mail. So the Daily Mail, oh my God. So the Daily Mail, yeah, this guy, okay, has been writing stories over and over and over again about Meghan and Harry. Okay, and the wildest thing about UK racism, like I said to you guys, is they do it institutionally. So in one aspect, when now what they did, they said they're going to investigate bullying aspects, because they said there was accusations against Meghan and Harry, and they were gonna say, oh, we're gonna investigate the accusations about bullying from Meghan to the rest of the staff. But I want you to understand something. So the Queen has two sons right now, Prince Charles and Prince Andrew. Now you might know Prince Andrew, yeah, because Prince Andrew, okay, has been linked with Epstein, and has allegedly has been, and I put that loosely, he's been out with little girls, having sex with little girls. He's been having Prince Andrew, the other son, the brother of Prince Charles, has been having sex with little girls. He's a paedophile, allegedly. And I put that loosely. Allegedly a paedophile. So now, do you see, like, if you watch the interview with Prince Harry and Meghan, how is it that the Queen would happily keep on the books and pay money, okay, and we, the British public, will help contribute paying money to a son who's a prince who has been involved with little girls? But you want us to investigate bullying, but you don't want to investigate when your son is being chased by FBI and dems for being associated with a paedophile ring and being involved. We don't want to go and investigate that one. Nah, we don't want to investigate that one. Nah, but you want to cut off your son because he decided he doesn't want to play ball no more. You know. So that's how it works in the UK, and you know what I'm saying. Like, and I'm gonna get to some of the things that were said in the interview. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, cool. There's a clip here. Let me see as well. I don't know if you guys actually watched the actual interview as well with Meghan and Harry as well. It was actually a really good interview. I don't know if I got a little video for it. I might have a look at video for it. Let me see. If I got a video of Meghan and Harry. No, I don't think I do. Okay, so I've got the other video. I've got this video here, and we can see it. So there's a little bit of a clip. I can't play all of it all in one go because of copyright things, innit? But let's add it to the stream.
I don't think you can go. And I said, I can't be left alone.
Hold up.
Okay, so I can't play it for more than 10 seconds because CBS will be coming out of my neck. So the actual interview that we had. So let me put out the email now because I've spoken quite a bit now. So someone's put this comment. So let me address this comment. So let me address this comment very, very quickly. Someone said, in summary of the interview, spoiled brat meets spoiled brat. Okay, P. Beckers, I appreciate your comment. Let me just say this very, very frankly for you. One thing we have to be very, very careful as human beings is not to equate because somebody has finances that their life is much easier than mine. Let me be very frank with you. What we have to be very, very careful with is that because somebody has seemingly more finances than us, that they deal with things completely different. Like they don't suffer any particular injustice. They don't suffer any hardships or problems. The Bible says that it rains on the righteous and the unrighteous. It rains on the good and it rains on the bad. It will rain on the rich and it will rain on the poor. Okay? Mental health doesn't play whether you're rich or poor. Suicide don't play whether you're rich or whether you're poor. Okay, yeah. Just because somebody's rich does not mean they don't suffer. Don't ever in your life make that mistake. Don't ever in your life make that mistake. It's actually, for you to make that mistake is arrogance. To assume that human beings, because they make more money or have more money or born into a life of privilege, their life is easier than mine. Do you know the pressure you have to face when you're a prince? Do you know? Do you know how much? Do you know the pressure you have to face if you're a princess? You don't know. I would advise to keep quiet. Very, very sharp. Very sharp. Keep it quiet. Because it's very easy to say, oh, their life don't matter. Look how easy it is. Da, da, da. And you listen, when God humbles you, you will realize that, listen, life is not so simple. Whether you're rich or whether you're poor. Do you understand? Yeah? We are humans and we go through things. When someone is saying they have mental health issues and they're considering suicide, it is... you only have to look at the media and look at Hollywood and look at how certain celebrities have committed suicide in their life. If money was the root of happiness, they wouldn't have committed suicide. If money was the root of all happiness, they wouldn't have considered suicide. Yeah? So don't think that money solves all your issues. There are things that are in the mind that can't be solved by money. Your peace of mind cannot be solved by money. So you see, and that's why you see, when we look at the Harry and the Meghan situation, and let me go to I've got my notes with you guys like today, innit? Get me, like I got my notes and that. Let me put my notes up for you guys so you can see. You know, we don't want to falsely assume just because somebody sees things differently to us that just because somebody has a different lifestyle to us, that they don't suffer and they don't go through things. You know what I'm saying? In fact, let me play a little clip for you guys. So here we go. Let's look at this. Look, Piers Morgan, yeah. This guy, he's a funny guy. Look what Prince Morgan's saying. Like, let's look at what he's saying. I won't play it all the way because I don't want to get luck off. You know what I'm saying? Let me just play this clip. So let me do it here, and you can play it and watch. Oh. I didn't realize. Guys, I didn't put no sound. My bad. Hold on a minute. Guys, I'm so sorry. Let me do that again. I didn't do it justice. Let me do that again. I didn't do that justice. Sorry. Let me do that again. I didn't realize I didn't put the thing on, man. I'm sorry about that, guys. Let me put the sound on. And then we'll put it on for you guys. Yeah. Let's go again. Okay.
Delusional claptrap.
What do you believe is false? Do you? I assume you didn't agree with it. Do you think is she telling the truth? Because we're not going to hear from the Queen probably.
I believe Meghan Markle if she gave me a weather report. Honestly, I think it was the acting performance of her life. It was designed to portray her the ultimate victim. She even at one stage says that being imprisoned in a palace was somehow similar to what people are experiencing in the pandemic lockdown. Well, tell that to people living at the top of high-rise buildings with 3 kids, trying to homeschool them with no job to pay for their food on the table.
See, you see that last statement that he made, yeah? Is the exact statement that Rebecca made just a minute ago. Tell that to listen. Him look at the audacity of Piers, the audacity to talk about somebody being rich, and you yourself are rich compared to me. The audacity, the unmitigated gall. How dare you? But look at the way that he started speaking at the very beginning. Look at the energy shift. Do you understand? Yeah, look at the energy shift that he took towards Meghan all of a sudden. From going from Meghan's amazing, the greatest thing, I better get an invite to the wedding, to now becoming her most hated public enemy. Does it make sense? And then he uses the guise and the veil of I'm defending the royal family. Who asked you to defend them? Who asked you to defend them? Nobody asked you to defend them. They didn't ask you, did they, Piers? Unless they did it secretly. Do you see what I'm saying? So now when the person has rejected you, the true nature of how you feel comes out. Do you get it? Let's play a little bit more, man. Let's play a little bit more.
It was utterly ridiculous from start to finish. But Meghan Markle, I expect this from. I think she's played us in the UK and the royal family as a bunch of mugs. I think she'll emerge as a heroine to the liberal crowd in America today, with the narrative of being a poor, vulnerable, massively misunderstood, biracial victim of a white racist monarchy and royal family. But the inferences in this interview that the royal family is harboring racists, and in particular, the one of them may be the Queen, because Meghan Markle lies, frankly. There's no other word for it. She said,
You see, like, man's coming out the gate, you know. Out the gate, brother. Man's coming out with Meghan Markle's a liar and da 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 da. And he's bruv, you see, yo, you know, he is touched. Bro, how can one girl who rejected you make you feel this way, sir? Oh, one girl that said she's not interested to talk to you anymore has made you go on a rampage. Sir, have we not all been there? Has there not been girls that have rejected me in my past? Do you see me now doing a book and series, a whole series on YouTube about how I should now collect all these girls who rejected me in the past? Bro, like, it's just not necessary, bro. You get rejected, you move on. Do you understand? You move on. Yeah? I'm going to go to that, Jen, in a second as well. I'm going to go to that clip. Let's watch it a little bit more. Like, yo, brother, like, move on. It's not necessary, bro. Like, you're dying for nothing, bro. Like,
says that the baby Archie will not be a prince because they want to change the rules to stop him becoming a prince because of his skin color. It's an absolutely outrageous lie. And the only person that decides titles like princes is the Queen. So she is directly inferring the Queen is a racist, changing the rules because her son is from a biracial.
I'm glad you called it out,
mother and
Piers.
father. It is utterly extraordinary. And you think this is happening at a time when Prince Philip is lying seriously ill in hospital in his 4th week of hospital treatment, aged 99 years old. I expect this from Meghan Markle, but what is Prince Harry thinking? It is a dereliction of all loyalty to his country.
So, you see, and that's how they do it. This is how they do it in, UK and America. Like, you can see how Piers Morgan goes after Harry. So what he's saying is that, look, I expect it from Meghan, but I never expected it from Harry. Are you nuts? What have you been watching the last few years? Where have you been the last few years? The boy has been on a derailer for ages. He's been saying on so many different... Listen, guys, I've got videos on this already. I've done the videos already. If you go onto my channel, I've already spoken about this and given the evidence with videos. Harry has been saying this for years, almost a decade. The guy has been saying, get me out of here like celebrity. The guy has been saying from the beginning, as soon as he had sense, he said, listen, I don't really want to be here. I'm not really about this life. This life never suited me. It just chose me. You understand? Like, the streets chose me, baby. You know what I'm saying? The royalty chose me, baby. Okay? I was born into this family, baby. Okay? So he's been saying it for time. Meghan is just the catalyst. Okay? That's all. So the mere fact that he's saying that, I never expected from Harry. I'm looking at it. So I don't know if you know Harry. You claim you're the royal respondent. You claim you are the royal correspondent for the royalty family. You know them. Harry's been saying this for time. Harry's been saying, listen, I'm just not about this life for time. So you're shocked. Why are you shocked? My sound keeps going. I don't know why it keeps doing that. Sorry, guys. They're trying to get me out. They're trying to get me off the game. You understand? They're trying to get me off the game right here, fam. That's 3 times already my sound be going. They've been trying to get me game. They're trying to get me off the game, guys, but I ain't gonna be off the game. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's nothing to be shocked about. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to be shocked about. At the end of the day, he's always been that way. And then the whole deflection of using Harry, using Philip as a reason as to why they shouldn't bring out the interview. Come on now, guys. Come on. He's 99, man. Like, when would he not have a scare? He's 99 going on 100. When would he not have a scare? There's no way we can get not ogre. Yeah. You lot are even mad. You lot are even mad. Oh man, you lot are even mad. All right, cool. Let me let me get you guys. I know you guys want to say your pieces now. I've spoken for a little while, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So let me get you guys on. You know, let me get you guys on as well. Let me show you something before I bring out the people as well. Like something that was so funny. I did a thing on my page. I did a thing on my page. I thought it was quite funny, to be honest. I did some tweets on my page. Where is it, bruv? Hey, you better show yourself, bro. Here we go. Look, guys, this is my tweet. Yeah, I thought it was quite funny. Okay, I don't know why. I just started seeing things, and I said, "Oh, this be looking like it, you know. This be looking like it." I don't know if you don't see the difference. Let me show you guys. You might see it. What do you guys think? I think this is a perfect edition. I think this is perfect. Am I the only one seeing this? I'm just saying. It looks like it slightly, bruv. You understand? Yeah. Harry be the Neo. Yeah. Piers Morgan is Agent Smith, just acting off the cuff. No one asked him to do it, bruv. No one asked him to do it, bruv. Man's gonna do it, bruv. Do you understand? He's acting on his own. Is it just me? I don't know if I'm the only one seeing it. Am I the only one seeing it? Am I the only one seeing it? Am I the only one seeing it? Yeah. And then we got this. Guys, we got this. I think it's perfect. We got the Source as being as the Queen Mother. We got Meghan as Trinity. Yeah. Am I lying? Tell me I'm not lying. Tell me I'm not lying. Tell me I'm not lying, guys. I don't think I'm off the ball, but I think I was pretty close, blood. Yeah. I think the next one you're gonna see it. I think you're gonna like it. Perfect. Look at this. Perfect. Look at this. I think this is perfect. You understand? Yeah. Oprah as the Oracle, and we've got Prince William the brother as Cypher. Yeah. The snitch all snitches, bruv. You understand? Yeah, so I think this is pretty good. Anyway, I think it's time to get you guys on and get you guys into the conversation as well, because I've spoken at length now. Okay. Let's get you guys on. Let me see if anyone's emailed me. I see you guys have emailed me, so I'm gonna bring you guys on. Because I know you guys want to have your viewpoints. Okay. Let's have a look. See a couple of you already want to get on, yeah? Okay. I see a few people want to get involved with the conversation. Okay. Guys, I've got a few of you guys already, like, you lot are hungry, innit? Cheers. Okay, let's get this going. So yeah, guys, I'm just saying, look, I mean, we have to understand, yeah, that they've been trying to get Meghan for time, blood. Like, this is nothing new, bruv. They've been trying to get Meghan for time. Let me even add this part as well.
Struggles. You've said
I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
The Duchess of Sussex detailed her attempts to seek out professional help and how she was met with denial and indifference from Buckingham Palace.
That's another thing. They didn't want her to get help, bruv. That's why he had to leave. He didn't. You know, they didn't want her to get help. You know, Oprah came correct at one point. There's a part where Oprah was in the interview. She was like, "Were you silent?" Or she was like, "Were you silent? Or were you silenced?" Bro, Oprah, listen, when it came to it, she dropped that. She was like, were you silent or were you silenced? Yo, she's levels, bruv. She's levels. You know, it's a Mazzoline, bruv. Do you know what I mean? So, you know what? I can't wait for you guys to get on here, start having a conversation. Let's start talking about the Meghan and Harry situation. You know, I've got too many points. We'll have to do. I'm gonna do a separate video for that, where I've written down all the points that they said. They said a lot. Listen, there was one part, yeah, Harry in the interview. Listen, the guy dropped one dirty bar. Man, Harry was like, he was just talking, saying, yeah. It's like, yeah, me and my dad don't even talk no more. You know, my dad don't even answer my calls no more. I said, hey, sir, you just gonna drop that in there, bro, cold like that, yeah, man. Hey, yo, brother, it was wild, blood. It was super wild, bruv. So, yeah. It's a Mazzoline. I can see a few of you guys today want to get the conversation flowing. Let me get you guys on and stuff. Whew, Chile. Yes, Lola.
Yo,
What's good, man?
just to say, you know what? I kind of really remember. Let's start with their wedding. How he looked at her.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone says, look at how he's looking at her with so much love in his eyes. And then we're here right now. So let me organize my thoughts. But I remember when I watched it, like it got to a point where there were tears in my eyes. Because there was one point where when she said, and you showed that clip, when she said she was so depressed when it got to a point when Prince Harry was going out, and he says, you can stay at home. And then she says, I'm scared if you leave me alone, what would happen?
Yeah.
That was like, there's so many things. And it's like, even with the interview. So I have a lot of people on my timeline that look like me, live like me, but have, a contrary view, like this impression that because they're wealthy and they're well known, they can't feel sadness, or their story is exaggerated, or she's spoiled. But it's like when you see these people, you can see the pain. You can see the pain. And I don't understand how you can look at the story and not actually, have some empathy. Because I remember when Charles and Lady Diana got married. Now I'm aging myself. I was living in London at the time. Then we watched how everything kind of unfolded. We know what happened. Yes, she went on. But I was living.
Sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
And so now you can see how everything kind of led. So she did have, her friend Dodi Fayed. They had a relationship. But it's like, let's start with the crash. Everyone's talked about how that crash, one, didn't make sense. Two, she wasn't immediately dead. She died on the scene. She was left to die on the scene. In a country that's not a third world country, a developing nation, she died on the scene. How do you explain that? To me, that's a covert operation. I'm actually surprised that you kind of spit out all the things we were I was thinking like how much you were going to say on the air. But so it's like most of us always say she was killed. Why was she killed? Because one, she didn't kind of stay within the constraints that they wanted her to. And then two, most importantly, was that she was loved more than they were. Like if you look at it, when she was talking with Oprah was talking about the press, and Oprah said, well, this is the monarchy. Why would you be scared of how the press is going to relate your story? Don't they have the ultimate control? But apparently, no. Maybe that press control is controlled by a few people in one room. And so this goes to show that, you know what? That control that Lady Diana had over the press was something they envied. And I'm so happy that she left a legacy behind, because she was the first of her kind to have her boys come along for all those visits. So there was something in them that made them slightly different from the typical royals. And like you said, Prince Harry has always been different. He always, danced to the beat of his own drum. He was always different. But then he began to find himself as a young man. And I'm surprised, when he met, Meghan Markle, I was surprised they let the marriage happen.
Yeah, I was surprised.
So if you let this marriage happen, and then you've got, because everyone's saying, why didn't they prepare her? So when you look at history, they say that she wasn't the first person of color to enter the royal family. But for tons of years, this is all we've seen. And she's still liked as it is. So how could people who have no hint or sense of color within their skin prepare her? He couldn't have prepared her. He didn't know what to expect. Lady Diana was, and the thing, think of it, Lady Diana, so we call her princess. She was a lady before she became a princess. So the first person that came in that was supposedly a commoner was Kate Middleton. And that was like a whole row. Okay, fair enough, they got married. Not only do you bring in a commoner, she's American and she's got some color in her blood. I would think they would already put something in place to help, because everyone knows, I shouldn't say everyone, those of us that have lived in England know that the British press is vicious. This is what they do.
Not even just the royalty, they're vicious all around.
They're just vicious all around. So how they didn't prepare or protect her is what leaves me, suspect. Like you people left her, because really her safety was at question. And it's just to see that and then when you see all the little things, when she talks about that skin thing, you know what? I'm not going to lie and say I was surprised, because you said it earlier on. Living in England, racism was subtle. Now, if you stayed in your place, if you worked at Sainsbury's, worked at this, you wouldn't really, kind of hit it. You just kind of come into contact with some little sly comments. That's fair. I remember when I moved to the States in the 90s, it was more in your face and abrupt. So you could feel it, but it doesn't mean it's any less in England. So it's like coming to that. So I won't say I'm surprised, but the fact that blatantly they are talking about the color of the baby and the gal to say that. So let's say Harry is third or fourth in line. How does his seed not get a title? And you don't have a solid explanation for it. And I hear Piers saying it's up to the da-da-da. No. How does the third in line? Because let's say there's Prince Charles, then there's Prince William, and then there's Prince Harry. Because, you know, in England, it's all about who's in line. You can go up to 200. How does the third in line? When you have those people who are 20 or 30 in line, their children have titles. How does the child or the seed of the third in line not have a title? So there are all these questions that aren't being answered. And even within that, looking at that interview, you could see that Meghan was controlled or tactful in not saying certain things.
She had to.
She was careful because I'm seeing everybody kind of criticize her. But the thing is, she didn't say everything. We don't know the half of it. We know just the crumbs.
If you want to live.
Boom. Thank you. If you want to live. So everyone's talking about how Prince Harry, or why did they do this? She dragged him. Because Prince Harry, as a young boy, lost his mother to something similar. What do you think he was going to do? Was he going to stare and watch? Because if she consistently was asking for help and he was consistently seeing the same thing play out. How did Princess Diana cope that time? She had bulimia. She had so many things going on. She had it going on for 10 plus years with no help. And he's going to watch and see that same thing play out. So I think it was really the grace of God, mercy, that one, they were able to find a way out. Two, his mother, once again, the legacy, because he said it. He says, what mother left from me is what I'm living on right now. I almost
cried at that moment.
I'm telling you, while I was watching, I'm telling you her spirits. I was crying. Like, everyone in my family calls me, like, Margaret Thatcher, because they used to tease me. I'm like, Margaret Thatcher, Iron Lady. But I'm telling you, this interview brought tears to my eyes, because it's like, people have so many like little twists to the story. Yes, she never used to claim she was black. That's not my concern, whether she did or she didn't, whatever is true. But we're looking now as a human being that married into a family that has the spirit, because she said, I have these things I have a love for. I want to serve. But they did say that as soon as they went, obviously the visit to Australia, after that, she said things just took a change and took a turn. And if you think, I'm not necessarily saying it's the Queen or it's this or whoever it is that's doing this, but if you think of it, sometimes when you talk about the monarchy, there's such an animal and a beast that surrounds it, that a lot of this nonsense may not be directly coming from the Queen, but the people, the ladies in waiting, the lords in waiting, all these people that take it on themselves that this is ours. And so they're the ones, I think, kind of perpetuating this whole thing. So it's like, you know what? I am happy that they've kind of told us something, but it's like we don't even know the half of it. And I really hope that we can, kind of support them, because I have a lot of friends who have this outlook where they're like, well, she's this, she's that. Didn't she know what she was going in for? Just no empathy at all. And I think...
Sometimes you sign a contract for your job, you don't know what it was entailing, and you got to the job and you realize it's not the job. There should be some, you know what? There's so many little things. Like, you remember that part when she said, because this is an independent woman who grew up in America, so she didn't really understand the monarchy. When she said, I all of a sudden had to become silent. What did Auntie Oprah say? She said, were you silent or were you silenced? And every time she would ask a big question, she wouldn't literally kind of articulate it. She would nod or have an indirect way of responding. There is so much tied in there. We don't know the half of it. What I can say is I'm kind of thankful that they had someone or some people to kind of rally around them. How do you have the prince, third in line, say you're going to withdraw his security? But
he was born a prince. His grandmother is the queen. How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Even our presidents in this country, even the ones we don't like, they get, Secret Service till they die. How much less someone in the monarchy? Now, there's always this question, well, we need to dismantle the monarchy. That's not really the question right now, because it's there right now. That's not the question.
It's still alive.
It's still there. I don't have an opinion about it. We could talk about it another day. But the fact is, it's in place. This lady is there with children. And so it's like, what do they want? The question is, what are they planning? Because you have all these covert operations. We don't know the half of it. What are they planning for these people? And that's what kind of made me take it back. But I am relieved that she had this interview. And it's just, Yo, I was really touched. I was touched, particularly someone who's kind of seen how it's played out. I look. That's all I have. I can
appreciate
take a breath. I see these
Go on.
ladies. Let me take a breath
You
so the
breathe,
ladies can
you
jump
breathe,
in.
you
Yeah,
breathe.
yeah.
Don't worry, you breathe. Max, talk to me, man, and we'll get talk to me, Max. What's your thoughts, man?
Bruv, it's real to me, bruv. I can't even come with any. Listen, it hurt my heart, to be honest with you. I'm still processing it. It is so hard to swallow as a Black Brit because I know how we celebrated Kate. And I know how we acted like it was the modernization of the monarchy and how we were so happy to receive her. And so it's like, wow, now we've got a couple drops of Black and the whole thing is falling apart. So to speak on racism in the UK, because I know that maybe for some it may be harder to maybe grasp. Obviously, Coda did say a lot about it being subtle. How I would say it works in the UK is they suffocate by expectation. That is how it works.
Love that.
And when you can have expectation, you can control very subtly. Because I just let you know, this is your place. This is what I expect of you. And then you just live up to it. It's a very unwritten, it doesn't require language.
Yeah.
Because once I have communicated to you in whatever way my expectation, then you just need to follow through.
Yeah.
So when you hear Meghan say they didn't prepare me, the purpose of it is you won't live up to expectation.
Ah, Max.
Because if I don't prepare you, then guess what? You'll be crucified.
Oh, Max, come again. Don't stop. Don't
Bro,
start again. Start again.
I'm in my feels. It's too personal. Yeah?
It's you to them again.
It's personal.
Yeah.
I want to let people know, like, this is what we live.
Yeah.
This is our life. Expectation.
Yeah.
Look around. You don't see your face here. You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to call you the N-word. Just look around. There's no space for you here. And so that's what they did to Meghan. They didn't create a space for her. So that whether they speak to her or not, she could never succeed.
Yeah.
That's it. So all of the the things that are really shocking people, like the color comments about Archie, they're terrible. They're shocking. But let me tell you something. She's experienced worse. Much worse.
Yeah.
And even just the idea of someone saying, "Oh, it's terrible, but we can't help you." Interesting. Because one thing Meghan kept saying, I don't know if you guys caught it. She kept saying, "Other people have what we're asking for." Did you guys catch it? She kept saying it.
Yeah.
And even Harry was a bit like, babe.
Yeah.
I don't think she wanted them to like draw out names and so on. But she kept saying, listen, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're not creating something new. We're just asking for what others have. So then you have to answer that question. Why is it some people can have it and others can't? What is different? Because I doubt, there aren't any people more senior than them who would be more entitled to it. So why are they not why is it not available to them? And just to speak to what Lola was saying before, so Harry's not third in line, because how it works is once William has children, they are higher than Harry. But that also even works in his favor, because it's like, why are you so pressed about his movements? Like, you know what I mean? It's going to take quite a few life events before my guy even makes it to that far. So it really speaks to more of like the audacity behind it all. And just, there's just so much there. But I mean, it's really just heartbreaking. I'll stop now because
Max,
I feel you. Max, I see where.
There's a lot that goes, and before I let Kenny go, there's a lot that goes into this because, there's a lot that goes into it because when I watched the actual interview, I was watching Harry, and one thing I love about Harry is he wants to also protect his family. At the same time, he wants to protect Meghan. He wants to also protect his family, right? But he's almost like that film Get Out is like the kind of same thing. It's like he's almost secretly oozing certain words to try and let you know the thing is flipped. I'm not gonna lie to you, the thing is flipped. Like when he says, obviously they're all trapped, and he said at one point he said something so powerful. He said, "I didn't even know that I was trapped until I kind of got out and realized I was trapped. Because like Oprah was trying to explain to him, like, how do you not know? He said, hey, darling, please, I was trapped. I didn't realize I was trapped until Meghan came along and showed me I'm trapped. And so it's like, and one thing I loved about Harry, what he said is that when you're dealing with racism with white people, okay, they suddenly forget how to really communicate with you properly, right?
Gotcha.
So when their mind is mad, yeah, and they say certain things that are off key, they use certain language, and you're like, you look at the person like, where did you get that from? But when Harry was explaining how he wasn't conscious of the fact that racism was really going to play a role, he started off by saying, I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't realize I had bias. I had bias. I wasn't aware, right? And then when I started being around Meghan, I started to realize, oh, nah, I've got my own biases I have to deal with. And I was like, so why can't other white people just understand this? He's basically said, he didn't say the word he's a racist. He just said, obviously, that he sees things differently, basically what he's saying, right? But the way he said it, I could rock with it. I was like, okay, you didn't understand because of your privilege. You're locked in your tower and you're block away. I get it. And then you came to an understanding. And then he said he put in work to understand. And I was like, if Harry can do it, I don't understand. A prince can do it. Why are you commoners not being able to do it? But anyway, let me calm down. Can you get involved? Go for it, Kenny.
I'm with you guys. A lot of this is fascinating. So I'm not a Black Brit, but I follow the royal family from Nigeria, so colonization.
Beautiful.
So all of this isn't strange.
That's no word.
All of this isn't strange. So I had to, while everyone was talking, because I was like hearing all the passion, I was like, I had to start writing down my thoughts because I'm like, I'm gonna be all over the place. So I'm just gonna start with the last thing you said, Kojo, about first of all, hi ladies. Good evening.
What's up, Kenny?
Good evening, sis. Don't worry,
I see you in your beret. You're going European on us tonight. All right.
Oh, I didn't even make the connection.
Black power.
All right,
How
sis.
would that be?
Yeah, right. Let me put this right there. Okay.
I was like, let me not lose my manners before I just like dive right into it.
No. Go ahead, sis.
All right. So I'm going to start with the last thing that Kojo said about Harry realizing that he was trapped. I resonated with that so much because like, think about it. When you have certain, you don't even have to be a member of the royal family. It's just like certain family dynamics, traditions, cultures that you've just been doing, you've just been going along with, and you don't realize they're toxic until you start to like say, go to therapy, or you start to have counseling, or you start to read certain books, or you leave your country and you realize the madness that's going on in your country of origin. I think the same thing can be applied to Harry. Why? That's why when Oprah was saying, what do you mean you were trapped? I'm like, oh my God. I was like, Oprah, you're talking like someone who's uncultured. Like, seriously, you don't understand it. Sometimes in order to realize that your house is smelling, you got to go out and come out. Like, it's not, you don't just always, you can't just be sitting inside. If you're born and bred into something, you will not know that there is more to life until you realize that there is more to life by stepping out. So 100% get it. And the reason why I wanted to raise this is because Oprah kind of like slid it in. She was like, she was talking to Harry. She was like, and you've been going to therapy. And I'm like, no, that's actually a pause point. That is key reason as to why he knows what's going on is because of his journey with mental health. That's the key reason why he knew to be taking all those trips to Afghanistan when he was in the military and just he barely wanted to be at home. It's because he's probably the only member of the royal family who was going into like therapy or seeking help for his mental state. Honestly, that's one. And then I'll take a step back. Honestly, I don't think Harry really brought Meghan up to speed as to what he was getting into, and not intentionally so, right? Okay, let's take a step back. So Harry in his subconscious, let's just assume, Harry in his subconscious has been trying to get away from the royal family, the same family that killed his mother, made his father marry the mistress who drove his mother to her death, like the whole 9 yards. And he's been trying to find an escape, and here he meets this breath of fresh air. Aren't you going to do everything in your power to make sure that it stays? So you're going to oversell it like, oh, if you join our family, you're going to be able to be, all this charity work that you've been trying to do, you're going to be able to do it. We will support you, blah, blah, blah. So he probably oversold the royal family and probably say, it's going to be hard. It's going to be all those things. But he probably wasn't conscious of the fact that he was overselling it. And so she's thinking, me and you, Bonnie and Clyde, we rock together. I can do this. And then she gets in here and she realizes that her job is actually her life. I don't think she realized that there was the
Yeah,
farm and there was a family. She didn't realize there was how many of us prior to yesterday's conversation knew that there was a farm and there was a family?
Well, we knew there was a body. I knew there was a body. There's a body, but she's giving it a name. She's giving it a name, as in the firm or them. Yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Like we know that we knew that there was a body. We knew that they had advisors, but did we know how much power the firm had to dictate the familial relationship?
Yes.
We did not know that. And if we did not know that, people who are criticizing Meghan to say she knew what she entered a line.
She did not know. She did not know.
And you need to just go sit down.
She did not know.
Because there was no way you could know.
Yeah, that's
Taking
true.
a picture in front of Buckingham Palace, people are like, oh, because she took a picture in front of Buckingham Palace, she knew what the draperies look like. Are you kidding me? Anyone who's traveled to the UK knows you go to Buckingham Palace, you take a picture. You go to Paris, you go to the Eiffel Tower, you take a picture. You go to Nigeria, you go to the National Theatre and you take a picture. Just because you take a picture in front of a building doesn't mean you know what the carpet looks like. Like, I just think, I think because we're so resentful of people with wealth, we refuse to acknowledge their humanity.
Come on.
We refuse. We choose to hold them to a different standard than we hold ourselves. So yeah, I don't think all the Googling in the world would not have educated Meghan, because all the Googling in the world did not educate us prior to yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just really just that simple.
Yeah.
You know? When Meghan said she was Googling hymns, I was triggered. Because growing up in Nigeria, growing up in the Anglican church, you know, having people who are in the Catholic Church, and you get all these hymns from British colonizers and captors, and you don't even think about it. It becomes your culture as And here you have Meghan saying she had never heard any of these hymns in her life, and I was like, this chick was not she wasn't starting from zero. She was starting from below. Zero. Yeah. I can sit down here and start rattling off some hymns, and the people in the comments, you guys will not know what those hymns are. It's not what you hear in the Black church. It's not what you hear in the Christian contemporary church. It's not what you hear in the white church. Nah. So even all the all the Googling in the world would not have saved her. I don't even know what number I'm on. But you know how we all go into work and we.
Is she here?
Is it me?
No, I can. Can we hear each other? No, it's Kenny's signal. Kenny, can you hear us? Kenny?
She about to come up in a second, I bet.
She coming? Kenny? Kenny? I have some, but I guess while we're waiting for Kenny, there is another point that I remembered.
Okay.
You remember the story when they said everything first started with her and Kate Middleton, when they said that she made Kate cry?
Yeah.
That was crazy to me because so many people, and it was actually the reverse, and nobody could come out and defend her.
Yeah.
All right, Kenny, you back? All right, let me jump off and let you keep talking.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
We'll go to that point after noise.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, sis.
You was here praising Jesus for a minute. Just had hands raised.
She had time to get. I know this is how she was. All right, go ahead, sis.
All right. Thank you guys. You guys are so sweet. All right. Okay, let's talk about code switching. All right. Yeah. I know how, as a Black woman, I have my work persona and I have my at-home persona. Meghan Markle's work persona was every single day. You know how we come back home and we take off our wig, we take off our bra, we just, you talk to your friends, you're just like, you don't even care about conjugations, use the ebonics, use the slangs, you don't even care anymore. Meghan Markle never had that. Never had that. She consistently had to code switch. Do you know what kind of toll that takes on your brain?
It's dangerous.
When your family and your job are the same, you can't prepare someone for that. And folks who say, oh, she got blinded by the fact that it was royalty. Wouldn't you be blinded too?
Thank you, my sister. This is what I've been saying. These jealous little people. Like, you see something good and you walk away, right?
Like,
a handsome tall guy.
Do we not all want to marry somebody rich?
Thank you. Like if that's it alone. But even if that's the truth, is that a reason to judge her? Thank you.
Two things can be true.
Yeah.
She saw an opportunity and the opportunity oppressed her. Two things can be true.
Thank you.
The fact that she took advantage of an opportunity. Don't turn into a Piers Morgan. Don't be a pepper body. Okay?
Please. Right, says.
Like, I'm just saying, there is nothing wrong with the fact that she saw an opportunity. The guy isn't bad looking. He was kind, and she went for it. There is nothing wrong with it.
He's a correct dude.
For people to say that she deserves the life that she had because she took an opportunity, it's like someone saying you deserve to go into a car wreck because you bought a new car.
It's jealousy. It's jealousy.
It makes no sense. You can call her a gold digger. Let me offer you $1 million. Reject it. Reject it.
Yeah.
Like folks be lying. Like we be lying to ourselves that we would be any different
in the same situation. Yeah.
Just face the fact that you're being judgmental and you're jealous. That's the reality. And I know I'm going to get roasted in the comments. It is what it is.
Look, this is too close to home. I don't care about anything anymore. Like, yeah, it's too close.
Another thing I want to point out that folks keep saying is that Meghan is never claimed to be black. Does she need to claim to be black to be oppressed?
No.
She
Whether
never
you deny it or not, you're still gonna have
I could never claim Nigerian, and somebody looks at me and says, "You look Nigerian," and starts oppressing me. Me claiming it from now to next year doesn't matter. I can say I'm not African American, and the KKK comes and off with my head. Me not claiming African American does not separate me from being oppressed by people who think people who look like me are less than. So the whole thing about Meghan not claiming black, meaning that she can't be oppressed, it's just, I don't get the logic. I don't get the logic. The oppressed does not get to dictate the rules of oppression. It is the oppressor. That's the way this stuff works. Yeah. So she may have not claimed black because rightfully so. She doesn't see herself as black because she can easily trace 50-50. Yes, she may not. Yeah, she may not claim it. I mean,
she may have. We don't know her like that. She was just merely an actress on Suits.
That's true.
No, she hasn't claimed black. In the interview, she said she's
we don't need her to claim black. You don't claim black and be shot.
But the reality is that in America, she's like almost white passing in America.
She can pass. She can pass.
And that probably also plays into why she did not think she was going to go through the oppression she was going to go through. Because in the UK, she's probably like, oh, I've been coasting looking like this my life. I'm gonna blend in here, and it just hits her in the face. And if anything, this just says if Meghan can go through this, there's no hope for me.
How much me? How much?
You wouldn't have even got through the door, let alone even get anything.
You wouldn't have been in the same room with him.
Wouldn't have been the same room. They wouldn't have allowed this to happen.
Security wouldn't have cleared you.
Yeah. So yes, I admit that this is probably the first time that racism has probably hit Meghan in the face like that. But it doesn't mean the slap feels any less.
The sting is still the same. The sting is still the same. I'm not deceiving myself that Meghan is the same black as I am, the same black as you brown people on this panel are, the same black as a lot of people in these comments are. I'm not deceiving myself. Meghan don't look like me. I don't resonate with Meghan. I'm not deceiving myself about that. But what I'm saying is that if racism can reach to the highest echelons of where Meghan is and slap her in the face, it says a lot about we everyday black people who look unambiguously black, and how racism doesn't just slap us in the face, it stumps us in the neck, it subjugates us, it suffocates us, and it dictates how our generations, the limits that they can reach. That's the conversation we also need to be having. Yeah, I mean, Floyd brought that to the front during when it really, you have it was 8 minutes and 46 seconds in video showing a man who was murdered in front of all of us. And how long did it take for them to even take those individuals to jail? Did they convict them yet? And there was nothing. Everyone's still acting like, oh, well, maybe he was, maybe not. So yeah, I think it's only now coming up to others who might be open to it, to actually acknowledge that, no, we're not aggressive. That's not why we get mistreated, but actually we are prejudged just on appearance only, period. We all know what it's like to go to work and work twice as hard just to be considered equivalent. We know this, but the others don't. So maybe this is, I know how you were saying, I don't know who was saying about, was it you, Max, when you're saying something about Prince Harry, or was it Kojo? With Prince Harry, he didn't need to know about this, but now he's invested because the woman he loves is going through this. So really, a lot of people are not required or obligated to know what our struggle is. There's no investment there, but it's only now when it's completely blatant, then if you still have that human spirit in you, you will now connect with that and say, you know what, that's not right. But then again, some people think that equality is simply their privilege. Their point of privilege is equality to them. They feel threatened if they all of a sudden become the same level as us. And so there are people still fighting the status quo that no, they still want to remain up here. And so, yes, I'm happy that it's coming out because you made a perfect point. She could pass as white easily. I used to watch the show. I didn't know what she was. I mean, I see her mother. Her mother looks like me. She's got locks. I've got locks. But other than that, we really had no clue. But that's to show you like the inbred racism in England. If you stay in your place, you don't get to feel it. But once you come out from more than what they expect you to be, that's why that glass ceiling is not even glass. It's aluminium right there. Like you're gonna hit it and you're gonna bounce right back. So it's when you get to certain points, that's when you really see. Because in England, at least when I grew up in England, it was like we're all in the same neighborhood. Because it's a little different here in the States. In England, when you all grew up in the same neighborhood, you all sounded the same. You all had the same values. Yes, you used to date each other. But when you got to certain points where the air was thinner, then you really felt your blackness. Here in the States, it's a little different. Like, already people are kind of sectioned off in different areas. Like, okay, we've got this, we've got that. Because I remember when I first started working, when I first moved and I was in school, I remember she was Puerto Rican. She's like, me and you later were the same. And I didn't even understand that. So, the racism is more in your face, but sometimes you can tackle it when it's more obvious than when it's subtle. Because sometimes, like the Matrix, that premise of the Matrix in England, you could work at Tesco's or Sainsbury's and live decently. You get your little cute clothes, hang out with your friends, and you don't even know you're in the Matrix. But here it's more obvious. And so you begin to know that, you know what, I need to fight. And so it's easier for you to come against it. But when you don't even know you're being oppressed, you're just kind of blinded by the fun things and you're doing all this, you have a longer journey. So I feel like things are coming to a head in different angles because no one has, even though she said maybe 15% of what's going on, more is coming out. More is coming out. Now you see the status quo. I even know you're going to talk about Piers Morgan because I've been hating that clown since they fired him from CNN. He's such a superficial, childish man that was, I don't know what's a male. I should call him a male, not a man. And to think that homies beef style with her over a wedding invitation, I'm so happy he didn't get one. I'm so happy. That guy's a clown. Can you imagine? He's a clown. He is a clown. Oh, God. Like, it's, you know what? Yeah. So this is the beginning. I feel like this is the beginning for us people to really, and that's why it saddens me when I had many friends on my timeline criticize her. Didn't she know what she was getting into? This, that. But do you realize that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is a sister. Period. And even when I say sister, I don't mean black or white. I mean, this is a woman going through something that she doesn't deserve. Period. And so you should empathize with that. Because I saw some really ugly, judgmental things. And it really boils down to envy. Because the truth is, like Kenny says, if you see something good, are you going to say, I don't want it? Because why? She met him in a space. He's a handsome young man. And he's been enlightened. So he probably has a great personality. And it doesn't hurt that he's a prince. Come on now.
And he's well-traveled. Excuse me.
Thank you, sis. Thank you. So why would you turn that down? Also, so it's like the hate she's getting makes no sense to me. This is a woman that literally considered death.
I think a lot of people are projecting because in their minds, and they may not realize this is what's happening, but in their minds, they're like, she fumbled the bag. I think that's what people think. Because when you have a scarcity mindset, you feel like if you've clawed, why would you spill the table? Why would you topple it? Why would you, why? So to them, they can't imagine why she's messing things.
Yes.
Oh, Kenny.
She was like right in the middle of a good point. Yeah, but Kenny, we get what you're saying, sis.
The enemy's really coming for Kenny.
Right. Like, look, I'm telling you, the MI6, they're coming for you. They can't look over.
Let me jump in before Kenny coming back. I just want to make a point on the monarchy because in terms of like British history, right, the monarchy used to be a lot more powerful than they are today.
Yes.
The kind of people influencing the law heavily. And okay, you're back.
Don't worry, Max, continue finishing and
you should train a thought. Go for it.
So yeah, they influenced the law heavily. That the kind of influence they had in society was not controlled. Let me put it like that. And so over time, there became more of a resistance from the people, historically speaking, right? And the people wanted more power. And then slowly over time, now we have, like, the way it's set up is that the prime minister and the government are the biggest influence, and the monarchy are more the face right? So this is why you hear the arguments, potentially, if you've ever heard them, of defund the monarchy, because they're not like some other countries where it's like they're making great rulings or big decisions about the country. So when Harry speaks about his father and his brother being stuck in the system, I think it's easy for people to throw that away. Oh, they're not really trapped. No, they are. No, they are. Because the truth is, when it comes to the press, the monarchy are still there because not they're a fan favorite, but they're still valued by people. Once they lose the value in people's eyes, they're gone.
Boom, they lost.
Because
That's why
every
the
other
press is
function,
important to them. Yes.
because every other function they've had has been removed.
Exactly.
So this is the one thing they have left: to people please. But to people please, you must please people. I'm not saying anything to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To people please, you must please people. And so they can't afford certain enemies. And the British press is an enemy they cannot afford.
Right.
As you can
They
see.
cannot
That's a
afford
beast
them.
on its own.
Because
Yeah.
if the tide changes for them, then it's too late. So for me, I think
the enemy's working hard.
Kojo, what happened?
The enemy's working hard.
They're coming for us. Coming for us.
Go, Max. Can we hear you? You out there? The enemy's working doubly hard, you know.
Max, they're trying to steal your gems.
Listen, I was just saying, maybe I shouldn't say it anymore, but essentially Meghan was the sacrifice. Meghan was the sacrifice because they know that, they have to keep these people happy. I think she was just a sacrifice. She was just the price that had to be paid. And for people saying, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with what Shola said on his show about why didn't the Queen stand up for Harry. Like I do agree with it, like the sentiments, but I just don't think the Queen has that kind of power. I feel like the Queen is like
she's a figurehead.
I just feel like
she's on a mug, she's on a towel, she's on like a pin. You go to look at Buckingham Palace, but at this point they're just figureheads.
She's on our money.
Yeah.
She's on our money. She's that's it. So I need people to understand that really how it works when they're talking about the firm and the system. They really mean that quite literally. They're not talking figuratively. They're not talking in analogies. This is really how things work. And I feel like that maybe can help the understanding of the interview when you understand that it doesn't run as maybe you would think a monarchy does.
And just before Kenny jumps in again, I just wanted to play a clip for you guys as well. It was from Diana, what she said. So just to kind of give perspective on what we're facing in a respect. So I'm gonna play it for you guys. It's very short, it's 20 seconds, but it's powerful. So let me get to it. Yes. Let me see. Okay, can we play that? Yep. Okay, cool.
Strength that causes the confusion and the fear. Why is she strong? Where does she get it from? Where is she taking it? Where is she going to use it? Why do the public still support her? When I say public, you're going into an engagement and there's a great many people there. Strength that causes...
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you do your research, you'll see it's a much longer document in terms of what's. Oh, sorry, guys. Sorry about that. On what's said by her, but she's elaborating the fact that obviously Diana also did exactly similar to what Meghan is doing right now, which is that saying something without saying something. Right. You know what I mean? Like it like you cannot come out and just say them man there are pricks.
Big killers.
You can't come out and say that.
Yeah.
It don't work like that. Like because the powers that be, this is, and I think that's speaking to why Meghan. You know what? I'll be honest.
Yeah.
When I watched it, I said, Meghan, some of this is great acting, and I'm not vexed. I'm not vexed.
What do you mean by? Explain what you mean by that was acting.
Some of it, as an actor myself, I felt like some of the things, that the way she portrayed certain things, she was acting. And the reason why she did that is because she had to put on this message to let you you have to be at full maximum sympathy for her. In order for the message to get through completely, she had to access those acting skills completely. Because some of the ways she was answering the questions. Huh?
Can we have an example?
I can't say there was an example. It's just watching the way that she answers certain questions. I'm not saying that she is bad to do it. I'm just saying that I felt like she had to sell something. This you have to sell it. You have to sell this.
She has to sell her innocence.
Yes,
and
you have
so
to
I
sell the
feel like in the
innocence.
beginning when she was talking about how I really didn't know that much, and
Yeah,
I
I was
didn't
like,
know
no.
this, but not to take away from the facts of it. But I don't know if you didn't really know that much, and weren't really informed. Yes, you're American, so you don't really understand the culture thing, but. So yeah, I see what you're saying and expressing the points, but even though she had to act it didn't take away from this.
No, it didn't take away from it. It
from
didn't
the
take away from it.
severity
Yeah.
of her experience.
Yeah.
And of course, even production had to sell it because the images they were selling went
course.
as she was talking. Like when they showed the picture of her holding, Prince Harry's hand when she said that literally her holding, they were white knuckle. So it's still, if it's on CBS, they're trying to get us to watch. So anything that's aired is still trying to sell something.
Yeah,
even though they didn't pay her. So yes. So I get that point, but I don't want it to take away from the fact that she had facts and she had points.
I agree.
Yeah, I think a lot of times people equate strategy to being fake. And I think what they're trying to get at is that she had to be strategic.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is all chess. It's not checkers.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Hello.
can't play.
Yes.
And just because someone isn't showing their full hand doesn't mean they're fake. I think every time stuff like this happens, and people are like, "Oh, I felt like they were being," I'm just like, you don't understand. Being real is a cultural thing that is primarily like Black culture to be real. And the reason why we are so real is because we know who betrayed us. It's always very subversive. Like the British came and they sold us colonization under Jesus. And there's so many ways that the people who have oppressed us didn't come out and just be real, that we have swung to the other extreme to be in the antithesis of what we saw in our oppressors, that we pride ourselves as a culture in being real. There is nothing wrong with being real, don't get me wrong, but there is huge value in strategy that a lot of times we miss in our chase of being real. And promise that Meghan giving the pregnant pauses where she looks to the side, looks down. I mean, even a simple question of, do you guys watch The Crown? And she stops.
And she's like,
and she waits for Harry. Harry, do we watch The Crown?
Harry's like, we watch it.
Harry's like,
we watch
it. And she's like, yes, we watch The Crown.
Don't forget, she's media trained. She is media trained. So
she's just smart.
And I'm watching it. And I'm watching it. And
I'm not mad at it.
I'm not mad at her.
There's one thing that I criticize myself over, but also pride myself over, is my huge skepticism. I don't trust people. And so every moment where she was being fake, I recognize it for what it was, but I also recognize that she was standing in a court of public opinion. She has been tried in the court of public opinion for 4 years. The tabloids, all of that. Court of public opinion. The whole I made Kate cry. Kate actually was the one that made me cry.
It was the reverse, right?
Tried in the court of public opinion. So what are you going to do now? You are once again standing in the court of public opinion. You plead your case. Even in a regular court of law, you have to prep your witness. You rehearse. It doesn't mean their story is any less true. It
has to be presentable.
You want to keep the main thing the main thing. The story has to be cohesive. You have to make sure that you're not distracted by anything. That may come off rehearsed. Why? Because it is rehearsed, of course, but it does not equate to fake. And that's one key thing that people always misconstrue the two, that being strategic means to be fake. No, being strategic means you're being strategic. Can it also mean sometimes you can be fake? Yes, but they're not synonymous.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to further reach that point, I did acting when I was younger. So so you have to understand that when you are trying to sell, and she has to sell this, because you have to understand this is war. This is not their life of war.
It's their livelihood. Yeah,
you understand. So this is not just I'm telling my story. If it was just me telling our story, you come on and you tell your story. They've done that before, and it got washed away. Right? Look how they've done with her dad. They've turned that all on his head. Even though the girl said, "Listen, my dad, we don't get along. He's never been the type of dad that needs to help me." And they somehow, Piers Morgan and his crew have turned it all the way upside down. So we're not going to play that game now. Y'all want us to play this media game. Let's play the media game. All right? You want me to play the media game with you. So now I'm going to sell you what I need to sell you so that you understand that this is an act of war. Because I can't come and just tell you the truth anymore, because the truth is not enough. And this is the unfortunate thing. The truth itself has to be sold in a way that's palatable for people to receive it. right? And so now they're telling their story. She has to do those little glances, the little pauses, the little. I noticed that little thing with the crown, you know, saying like she waited, and Harry was like, "We watched that. No, we watched a few episodes. Come on, girl." Because at first she was gonna say like she didn't want to say
nothing. She
wasn't gonna say nothing, right? Yeah, because she's thinking
Yeah.
about what is the consequence and how far will they
With each
take it
thing.
if I say
Yes.
this each thing. So you have to measure it. It's almost like being at work and you know that as a black woman or a black man,
Boom.
you saying something now
you're gonna
looks like you're the
perceive
angry
it.
black man or black
Yes.
woman. Oh, you're the
How it'll be
aggressive
perceived.
person.
Yes.
You know, so you have to
Yeah.
almost think before you make a move. And so sometimes
Exactly.
it will look like it's telegraphed. That's because it is. Because if it's not telegraphed, I could die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
It's a huge platform,
yeah.
so she had to be careful because she knows how far this is going to go. And she's already knows she's going to get some criticism, but she needs more people on her side. She's fighting against a beast.
Yeah.
And they're still coming for her, even though they've left.
Exactly. Look, it's a game of perception.
Boom.
That's literally what the
Yeah.
game that is
Yeah.
being played.
Yeah.
It's a game of perception. And so, honestly, I don't fault her for anything that she did. It's survival at all. I do want to say, I love the little moments where Harry's like, you know, someone told us about streaming and Netflix. I said that someone was the Obamas. Hello. Like, if anyone is connecting the dots with the news, the Obamas, you know, rolled out their Netflix deal after they left the presidency, and then they had Spotify contracts and streaming deals and all that good stuff. And it was rumored that the Obamas were the ones that pitched, like, why not
this idea?
Yeah, the idea of streaming to to Harry and Meghan, and so for them to just like, you know, nonchalantly just like throw it in there. Yeah, someone. I said someone. Yeah, just like Tyler Perry gave you his house for 3 months.
They have to keep their cards close to their chest.
I just thought it was cute. Cute.
Yeah,
When we say someone, we mean like the guy down the street.
Oh, you mean
yeah.
You talking about? They're still royalty, like you know, the monarchy can deny them, but they still have that place. So yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute.
Yeah. But
Go for it, Max. You want to say something?
Yeah, no, I was even going to ask Lala what she was going to say previously about the reverse situation with Kate and Meghan.
Yes. Yeah, you know, so what blew my mind about it, because I didn't even see, I think I heard something about it in the press then. And of course, it's always stay quiet. But why could there have been an official statement to drown it out? But the fact that somebody released some information intentionally to spin the exact opposite story is mind-blowing and gives you the depth of how far the battle against her was. And it makes me feel like it's definitely an insider because, like somebody rightfully says, it was one thing to have Princess Diana, as you know, the people, you know, she was everyone's heart. But for another woman who, let's just call her black, because to them she's black. But a black woman to be the people's hearts over the monarchy, that would never be allowed. So the attack on her began almost instantaneously when they saw that she had some popularity, because one, she was a commoner. Two, she had something in common with a whole bunch of us. Oh my goodness, that's a sister. This is a this is a that. This is a woman who was in different levels. This was a woman who was independent. Then all of a sudden she gets a man. That's another woman's story. Third thing, I think she was divorced, right? A divorcee. So it's all this fairy tale. Her fairy tale came true. So she kind of appealed across the border. And that appeal, and also she had a genuineness about her as well that they said they could liken to Diana, which is probably why Prince Harry fell in love with her. And that became, they wanted to stop her before she started, because it got to a point where the only way they could stop Princess Diana was by killing her. The train had already, and you know, with the monarchy, their biggest weapon and the biggest tool is the press, because we know they don't have any real power. That's their teeth, the love of the people. And if somebody else is coming for their throne, I mean, this is a life or death matter for them. And so that was, they didn't care how they did it. They wanted to put that light out. I don't know if they succeeded, but she's left. But as she's telling her story, I feel like she's fighting back. She doesn't want to give up, because they could kind of quietly go away and ignore it. But no, they're fighters. And I think part of it too, some people can say it's Meghan. I think it's Prince Harry. Prince Harry, he saw them. And he was young, because I remember when they were, you know, with that, following that coffin, he was young. But some things never leave your heart. And so he's fighting back for his mother right now through himself and his wife. So it's like, it's you know, even other instances when they gave, you know, how they put the articles of how when she would always rub her baby bump initially on one hand, when they compared it to Middleton, they would say, oh, she's cradling her baby. She loves her baby. And another hand, when it was her, that she's arrogant. It's just the same kind of, the same thing, but twisted in a completely opposite direction. Just like Piers Morgan was doing when he was talking about, like, when you completely twist a narrative just to suit whatever you're trying to sell. So if you really, this comes back to the Matrix for me. It's like, you can sell anything to the people in this program, depending on how you sell it and you twist the facts. Because unfortunately, a lot of people believe what they're fed. And so no matter, they will just get some facts, twist around and sell it. And there's some people, because they have a vested interest in it, they're buying it. So now what they're trying to do is get the people in the middle who are, neither here nor there. And so that's why she's selling a solid package on CBS through the queen of media, Oprah. Like, they've got some, and because people are seeing this, like, if I could help them, I would too, because this fight, how am I invested? This fight involves me too. Yeah. It involves me too. It involves my, like, this is a fight for us. At the end of the day, she doesn't know. I don't know her. She doesn't know me. She doesn't look quite like me, but she's now seen as a Black woman. So it's my fight as well. So I think that's what's good. But it's like, when you look at that, just the nuances of it all. It's like, think about when it was, I don't call his name, number 45, his wife, and then Michelle Obama. How did they sell those two? You got a woman who went to what was it, Princeton, and then she went to Harvard, educated, smart, gorgeous. We saw her in inauguration. She killed it. But you see how they called her all kinds of names? And then number 45's wife, who barely could string, a monologue together, was considered the most beautiful, first lady. Yeah, feminine. Hey. Could say nothing, could do nothing, had nothing to offer. She wouldn't even hold her husband's hand. She was done with him. And they even had pictures of her in a bikini. But it's all about the narrative. And so when we see so this is a fight. This is where we need to unify. Because we need to fight back. Yeah. Brown is, I'm so proud to be a brown woman or Black woman, whatever color you want to say it, because now we're fighting back. This, how some kids will say, this is not our parents' war, we're fighting right now. That's where our vested interest is. I wish people would see that. It's not about this particular thing, it's about us. Once we get on board, then the train's ready.
So I've got another clip before we start, because you're talking about what you're just talking about, so I wanted to just to add it to the conversation, and I'll let Kenny go. Let me look at it for you guys, and then I'll let Kenny go. So this is because since you were talking about obviously, Ivanka Trump, this is the nemesis of Meghan without her being a nemesis. All right, so this is nemesis, and this is what this is what was being said. Listen to this.
Natural, but interestingly enough, studies show that if you have between 104 degree or 108 degree nasal tip rotation, those are the ones that are considered the most beautiful, and hers is 106. Somebody in here to measure our nasal tip rotation, please? And then we know if we have beauty. But symmetry is what they say is a lot in the eye of beauty, right? Okay, the second most requested.
I love us. I love
No,
us.
wait, let me do that again one more time. I'm so sorry. I gotta watch that again. That is
our nasal tip rotation. And then we know if we have the most beautiful noses. But symmetry is what they say is a lot in the eye of beauty, right? Okay, the second most requested.
They're like, holy smokes. What is all this malarkey?
Oh, Black people are like, what the heck's going on in here?
Yo,
and we're in a room with you. Yeah, go on.
in my very before.
Like, for real, the crazy. Honestly, every single thing Laura just said, Laura, just get out of my notes. Get out of my like, seriously. Once you brought up Melania, Michelle, that dichotomy, I was just like, get out of here. Get out of here. Like, seriously. Look, Laura, you mentioned that they could have just gone quietly. They couldn't have just gone quietly, because just last week, or was it 2 weeks ago or so, there were rumors spreading that Meghan had changed Archie's name on his birth certificate for some nefarious reason. I couldn't even follow the story. I'm like, the British press has continued to slander Meghan's name over and over. Even after they left, they ran to Canada, ran to LA. They continue to slander them. They didn't get paid for this interview.
Right. This is a fight back.
This was a fight back. Oprah got paid. She got $7 million.
I'm not mad at sis.
I'm not mad at sis.
So get your coins.
Get your coins. But they didn't get paid for this, because this was simply just, know
fight
what?
For their lives.
You guys are not going to let us go. We're going to use the same tools that you use against us for us. Seriously. Yeah. Another thing I wanted to mention is that Black women, even though Meghan identifies as mixed. She's facing the racism because she has a one drop of black blood.
One drop is enough. Yeah.
I'm going to use black women now. All right. Black women deserve to be damsels. Okay. We deserve to be damsels. All right. Because what some people are projecting on Meghan is that why couldn't she be strong through this? Why do we have to know that she's sweating? What some people don't realize is that's what's happening. Black women deserve to be damsels. We deserve to have our prince save us.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. And that's because we struggled for too long by ourselves.
We struggled for too long because Oprah at the end of the interview said, "So she saved you," and Meghan said,
No, he did.
He saved me.
He did. Yes, thank you. Thank you.
For us to leave.
Let us run with that.
To leave. And I said, yes, let us run with that.
I love that.
That at the end of the day, the black woman is not the Prince Charming. He still remains a damsel.
Thank you.
Something I wanted to say, but that I'm still digesting. Can you just drop?
I love that.
It was the way they said to her, "We'll protect you." I want us not to miss that, right? Because when you say to someone, "We'll protect you," you then got their trust. And I still hold my same view of the sacrifice, right? Taking you now to the Bible, when you look at Isaac and Abraham, right? Abraham could never have taken Isaac to sacrifice him lest he trusted him. When he's asking, "Where's the lamb?" Information, right? I just need just follow me, just follow me. God will provide. God will. They had to lure her along. They had to, because, like she said, if she had known, she would have moved completely differently. So you can see there's so much there to show she was a sacrifice. Even when they're saying we're going to remove the security, we're going to change protocol and change the law just so Archie can't be. Why? Because it is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice, and it's just so sad because even like Lola said before, you could never anticipate that. Harry couldn't anticipate that.
Yeah.
Who's he going to look at to see that example? That is what to expect. So, given his natural limits of maybe lack of understanding of racism and so on, there was already another level that they could just never have been prepared for. But what I love about it, and what is quite strange to see, is that their healthy love form is seen and demonized as like really distorted or wrong. And I'm like, is it that we're not familiar with healthy love anymore, or what? I'm very much confused, because the kind of love that Harry is displaying is honorable. It is good love. So I find it strange when they try and push the narrative of her, being manipulative and leading him away and all these different things. It's like, no, guys, no. This is actually a
what
good
love
thing.
Is.
Him putting his family, him saying, "No, my wife's mental health, my child will grow in freedom. I will see him ride a bike because I wasn't able to." That is healthy, and that is changing the narrative. And if enough of us were confident enough to say, "Do you know what? Whether I grew up in privilege or not, whatever people want to call it, whether he grew up in privilege or not, he's telling you he wasn't free."
Yeah.
Yes.
And
exactly.
Meghan said something so interesting. She said, "Listen, they judge us by their perception. We're living the reality. All we have from our position is perception. So as much as we want to project and say, oh, a prince should be like this, a princess should be like that, you don't know because you're not one. And you're not one in their shoes, in their time. So we just have to give people the grace sometimes and give people the space to say, do you know what? You may love it from the outside, but like Meghan said, she was smiling, and every time the lights came down, she wept. She was weeping. So you just have to be careful, even what you envy and what you say, oh, I wish I was in her position.
That's right.
She wishes she was in your position.
The freedom we had and she didn't have for those 4 years. Yeah.
And even I think you showed. Just a final point.
Go for it. Sorry.
I think you showed that the Piers thing when he said, "Oh, how dare she compare being in a palace to the
Someone in a
lockdown
high
that we're
rise.
having.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just like you intentionally missed the
Yeah.
comparison she was making.
Yep.
And I think this is probably why she doesn't deal with Piers, because he's committed to misunderstanding her. I don't get it. Like, you are committed to not following the clear word I'm speaking, so I don't interact with you anymore. And that made him upset. Oh well, if more of us would do that, it would help our mental health. Last thing, Harry said, listen, if she had been reading those tabloids, she wouldn't be here. So you have to take these lessons and be like, listen, it's not every YouTube comment you have to read. It's not every view you have to take on board. Learn to distance yourself. For your own good.
Boom.
Divest.
Boom.
So yes, and do you know what I want to add about, obviously, the Harry situation? Harry with, I think, sorry, Kenny was saying as well about black women being able to be damsels. One thing that I loved about what Harry did that I wish more men will do is called dying on the line. My brother said, listen, against all odds and all the machines and all the press, my grandmother, daddy, and Grand Philippa, who's also, I don't care, he's even
everything
there,
he knows.
everything I know, I'm willing to give it up.
Yes.
In order for this woman to be protected, to the point. And there was something so powerful. He said, when the security had to end, basically, which I think was mad. Like, he's a prince, regardless whether he is till death. He's a prince. So that's a scalp of someone. You know what I'm saying? Like if someone takes him out, that's a scalp. And so when he was talking about that, he said, obviously, it sounded like he was at a point where he said, I was willing to do anything to make sure that I had money to pay for security. It's like at that point his head was like, listen, I don't care what it is, I will sell stories, I will be on Disney characters doing voiceovers, I will make sure my wife is safe. This is not a plaything for me. I'm not about to allow something to repeat itself a second time. As for me, if it means me too dying with it, I will die with it, but there's no way I will stand by and allow it to happen. And so when I saw that energy, I said, this is correct. I said, where did he get this energy from? Because to do what he did, I mean, it's not a small feat. Like it's you know what I mean? Like it's easy to dismiss it, like, oh, they're rich and they have money, and how easy it is for you to go to another country and have. Listen, you don't understand. You are rejecting a whole system that is built around you. It's the only thing you've ever known.
The only thing he knows.
And your family's within it as well, the constructs of it. So to give it all up for a woman who comes outside of that. It's a big thing to sacrifice, and the fact that he was willing to do that, I said that's huge, you know. And we want to allow more black women to be damsels, don't we?
When a man leaves his family and cleaves with his wife, that is exactly what he did.
Exactly. Something I want to say, and I'm going to try not to sound preachy, but one thing that came up to me as a result of that interview is that breaking generational curses isn't pretty. And we think we're the only ones that have to do the work. Sometimes everyone around you will see you break a curse. And to you, you think you can clearly see that this is toxic and I'm trying to step away. But the people around you, because they don't know any differently, they will punish you for trying to break a generational curse. And that's literally what Harry is doing. Because Harry's looking at his father and his brother like, we all went through the history. They all went through the same history, but he's the only one committed to not repeating it. Because he was the only one committed to learning new tools. When he went to therapy, when he went and did all, he was the only one committed to it. His father instead just went and married the mistress who pretty much caused the wife's death. His brother pretty much repeated his father's situation by marrying Kate, who he doesn't really love. She was the safe choice.
It looked like he cared. I'll be honest with you. That bold head is
choice. So not everybody who goes through the same history and the generational curse with you will have the same mindset of wanting to break free. Harriet Tubman has a famous saying that more slaves would have been freed if they only knew that they were enslaved.
Right.
And that's the truth. Like, enslavement, regardless of social strata, you can be enslaved depending on wherever you are. If it's money could be the one enslaving you as you're rich, and as you're poor, money could be what is enslaving you because it's driving all your poor broke.
The desire for it.
Yeah. That's a key thing. Like, some folks could watch that interview and be like, look at us losing our minds over these rich people. Or some folks could watch that interview and see some nuggets in there and take it away.
The life story.
Honestly. Piers Morgan not wanting to, understand Meghan talking about being in lockdown while being in the palace. Meghan wasn't saying anything strange. Michelle Obama said, the night that the Supreme Court ruled for gay marriage, it took her 15 minutes to come out to the White House lawn to see the lights. 15 minutes, because they had to do all kinds of protocol. They had to remove all the security. They had to make sure she was properly dressed. This woman was just like, I'm upstairs and I just want to go downstairs and see the lights. And it took her 15 minutes. Because when you're in a gilded cage, it doesn't stop it from being a cage.
It's a pretty cage, but it's a cage.
It's a pretty cage, but it's a cage. There's protocols and all kinds of things. And it could be that the same thing that was created to protect you also keeps you locked in. Yeah. So like Piers is just full of shit. Sorry. Like,
but we know this. We know. Yeah.
He's full of it. But I just want to say, like, I don't think Meghan is like me, like a regular schmo. I don't think Harry is like me, like a regular schmo. But there's stuff that I watched yesterday, and I watched that, and I was just like, there's nuggets in here that if you choose to see it, you'll see it.
I'm happy that he fought back. I'm happy that the memory of his mother, which is probably what kind of took him in a different direction. The fact, the pain he went through, it was for a reason, and he grew from the pain. It wasn't just a lesson that he did. He learned something from this. And like you said, he recognized that history is trying to repeat itself. And he said, not on my watch, because he gave up everything to have this. And I just pray that they continue. That doesn't become a pressure on their marriage, because you could see that he was sad. There is pain. The only living parent he has is not talking to him. He's not talking to him. He has space between him, and it was just him and William. There's space. So are they fighting? No, but there's space between him and William. So all he knows is kind of separated from him now. The whole instrument that was protecting him before is now fighting against him. The guns have been faced against him now. So there's a pain within him. But you know what? He's going to survive. He's going to survive. Because God is still blessing him. They've got beautiful, they're happy. They've got one child, another one. Like when they were cracking jokes about, his son, well, Archie was like, safe drive, so it was cute. So at least they've got space and they've got air. Like when you have hope, that's how you can start. Because everyone thinks, oh yeah, they have money, have this, but it's like he lost everything, really. Think about it. Anybody sitting where you are, everything you know, you lose it. You end up somewhere else. There's pain there. There is pain there, but he's going to survive it. He's going to survive it. I think that's a lesson that sometimes you have to fight with everything you have for what you believe in. And you may not have anybody you know or recognize or support or respect on your side, but you have to work from the spirit in and believe that this is what is right. And that's when you start listening to your spirit, not looking around you. So yeah, and I think that's what really broke my heart. Like just
look at Harry saying that he doesn't believe in like woo woo woo. He was like, I don't believe in like woo woo. I don't believe in like extra existential. Pretty much saying he doesn't believe in God, right? But then he turned around and said, but I believe that everything was ordered in a certain way.
Boom. His mother's spirit, she was like, she fought with her last for those boys. She did. She broke so much protocol in that time. I remember when they talk about it, when those boys were little. Then he used to take usually used to take kids on those things. You go to shelters, to the hospitals. So she gave something to those boys, and that's what's working in their favor right now.
Yeah.
I see Shanae.
Definitely agree that.
I see Shanae.
Ladies, good evening. I'm sorry, Coach. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk. Hi, ladies.
That's all right.
Hi.
Max, Kenny, Lola, Coach.
What's
good
up?
Evening. Good evening. What's up?
Welcome to the Black Brits.
I know. I was about to say, I don't know if I can be allowed. I'm not a Black Brit, but I just want to jump in. So I wanted to jump in with a couple points. So one of them was, for me, I saw so much. I've been following the family, much like Lola, absolutely obsessed with Princess Diana. Just something about her I was always drawn to. Not really big into like the entire family, but just always following her and watching how she was with her boys and how she was a philanthropist and really had a heart for people. And just how she, much like Meghan, she was villainized too and demonized by the media a great deal. And never really had, it's like she had a voice, but she was so not able to ever just be free and to speak with that voice. Like it was kind of like how Oprah asked Meghan. You could see how she was so silenced, but you knew there was something there. You knew she had a depth and a story. You could just imagine, right? And so when Harry talked about how he took what his mother gave him, right? And that was going to be what they were going to use to start over. I just was like, oh my God, this is so prophetic. Like, I know Diana had to know her work was not done yet, but she knew that somebody had to catch that mantle as she left. And she had two boys, and one of them didn't catch it. But this Harry, that baby boy, he caught it.
Yeah.
And he's picking it up and he's running with it full steam ahead. And I also kind of saw some similarities with like Joseph and his brothers too, right? So they don't even get the firm, as they called it, doesn't even get, like, for those, like he said, that are still trapped, they don't even get that your salvation is probably coming through Brother Harry. You're in those 7 years of famine where you can't see it and you're not aware of it. Oh, but it's going to come a time when you're going to need the plenty. You're going to need someone that was storing up. You're going to need someone that was making provision for you. And that's Harry. So some of you that are looking at him now and you're scoffing at him, he is your salvation. Oftentimes when people break away from like extreme bondage and control, they look at that person that went first and they tend to like, they almost hate them, and they hate them because they don't have the bravery that they have. It's not that they hate what they're doing. They love what they're doing, and they even see how a path is being made for them, but they're just like, oh, how did you get the kahuna, so to speak, to do this? And I'm sure I'm sure his brother is kind of looking at him like, bro, you out here doing, like, you trying to spill all the tea, but really he's like, yeah, bro, keep going, because then maybe I can get free too. Maybe I can get out of this too. I think Harry looks at his dad, and you know, they had speculated that Prince Charles was not Harry's father because they said that Diana had an affair and all this drama. But I think sometimes, I think sometimes Harry looks at his dad and he's like, bruh, I'm about to show you what a man. I'm about to show you what a man of bravery looks like, because you stood there and you looked and saw a lot of stuff and were complicit to a lot of stuff. And now look where that got my mom. But you know what? I'm not going to be like you. I'm going to show you the man you don't have the balls to be. Excuse my language. And he is out here moving and making moves for his wife. That, I mean, come on, let's be honest, ladies. To see a man be willing to do that for you, you can't tell me that's not alluring and that's not attractive. All these ladies talking about, I wouldn't have dated him, I wouldn't have did that. You're a lie and the truth ain't in you. If a man showed that he was down for you like that, like with faux flats, willing to turn his back on his family for you, don't tell me you wouldn't go for that. Come on. Oh my goodness. Part of us is desiring someone that would love us enough. Like like you guys were saying earlier, talk about leave and cleave. Bro, it's like not just leave and cleave, but leave and cover. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to pull out resources that you don't even know that I have, because the family's trying to cut us off, but my mama knew. She knew before she went home to be with the Lord that I was going to need this one day. And she knew that I could carry it forward. Exactly. Such a time as this. So that was just what I had seen through it. I was like, oh, there's so many biblical principles woven in this story.
That's a word.
Oh my God.
So many. That's what I was saying, Sinead. You watched it. There's so many layers. Thank you, Sinead.
That's a word. That's a word.
Buzz. Okay. Layla, you're in the conversation too. Talk to us, man. What are you saying, man?
Hi, everybody.
Hey, sis.
Good to see you guys.
Hey, Layla.
Yeah, so I just thought, like, when I was watching this, and I mean, my mom is Jamaican, so I have been sort of forced to follow the royals my whole life. And I mean, it's fun until you get to a certain age and you realize what this represents. And even just like me being in America, both of my parents are immigrants. It's like, why are we watching the wedding of these random people who think that they were born better than us? Why are we doing that? Like, I used to think that, like, I had like a slight, it was like I was like mad at myself because I really liked the pomp and circumstance. And I grew up watching Disney, so it's all very fun that this is real life. But then I get mad at myself, like, no, think of all of the things that this represents. And then when you actually start to see like those old interviews with Diana and you see the old footage and you just know how big of a deal that was, and they just weren't scared to go there, you think like, no, this is actually a very scary place. Like they always make the part 2 of the Disney movies. They came out in maybe like the late 90s or mid 90s. Like they would make like Cinderella 2 or whatever. And it was always trash, so nobody watched it. But the whole premise would always be like, you got what you wanted in the first movie, and it turned out to be much more challenging than you ever thought it would be. And so now your entire new life's challenge is getting through your supposed fantasy coming true. and nobody cares because you got the fantasy that we all were told that we wanted. Like so now that you have it, I'm like, you want me to feel bad? Like, I just ate dinner out of like a plastic, meal in a box, and you're talking about, oh, the palace, they never let me out. So many people grew up romanticizing that. It's not something that they can understand. But think of Harry knowing what happened to his mom when he was little, and probably doubting a lot of those memories in that perspective, because everyone else in his family is acting like what happened was sad, but like not that big, not that much of an orchestrated event. Even though he knows that there are wrong things inside of him, he knows it, but that reality has never been truly validated. Then you see what they are doing to your wife. And you're like, everything I ever thought was true. All of the darkest thoughts I had about you guys, they have to be true, because how could you ever be doing this again? So I felt for him. It looked like he was going against every single inclination that he's ever been taught. He looked very uncomfortable, but I just thought it was very brave of both of them to go through it. And to your point about Meghan being an actress, she sold it to us very well. You could tell she was acting. Even in I think the first interview that I saw of them, they asked her, yeah, there have been some sort of racial headlines every now and then. Like, how do you feel about that? And she's like, it's just been overwhelmingly love, though. It's just been so amazing. I was like, girl, even if it's been amazing, I know that this is probably the first time in your life you have been really made fun of for being Black.
Yeah.
So I know that even if it was only 10, even if it was only 10 headlines, girl, I know you felt it. I know you felt it very hard.
Yeah.
You are used to being Black looking like you in America.
Yeah.
On Suits. I remember the point when they even told the audience that she's Black. He was like, he on the show, her little boyfriend met her dad and he was Black. And he was like, wait, you're Black? And she was like, yeah, what do you think? I have a permanent tan? I was like, no, we don't, because you're not tan. You can live in both spaces in America.
Yeah.
They'll let you do that because you're beautiful in America. And possibly even in the UK. But when you try to be inside of the palace, girl, no, now you're just full Black. It doesn't matter.
Now she Black.
Now you're black. Yeah,
like
now you're extra Black. You didn't even know how Black you were or how Black you could get.
Yeah, you didn't know how Black she was until she walked into those gates.
She learned that day.
She walked into the citadel, the temple of white supremacy, and she realized the Blackness in her was like.
Yeah.
She didn't even know. She did not know, but she learned. But yeah, they told her. And I'm glad that she had, the type of husband that she has. I was like, that's somebody who's
We thank God.
That's somebody who's down. You had asked earlier, Koja, like, if a prince can learn this and like check his own biases, why can't the rest of you regular people who actually have to empathize with common man on a daily basis? It's because none of them have truly loved a Black person.
Or they don't have anything at stake.
There's no investment. Yeah, there's no investment.
If you've ever loved a Black person, even if it's like your nanny or like the cook at school or whatever, if you've like loved and empathized with a Black person, you couldn't be racist.
Because you will join the struggle.
It just because you would think of that person
in your space. Because it really starts in your space. You don't have to go to a platform, but if in your space you see something that doesn't look right there, that's you're beginning to fight for us. So yeah, it's true. There's nothing invested. They have nothing to lose.
Nothing.
In fact, some of them have something to gain.
Yes, their peace of mind. They don't want to disturb their reality.
Right. Yeah, the superiority gives them an edge, which that's the only thing they know. So anything else is less.
Yeah,
I believe. Sorry, go ahead, Kenny.
No, go for it. Sorry.
I believe that's why Piers Morgan is so personally upset, because I watched this. I was talking to my mom. I said, Piers Morgan is going to light her up. It is coming.
His time is coming.
I was like, this man, I've seen him be so irrational and unreasonable. And he was like spitting mad. He's screaming over his co-host. That poor woman who sits beside him on a daily basis.
She needs a check.
I just can't wait for either Meghan or Harry to just, because to me, Piers Morgan is the Goliath in this situation. And I can't wait for them to grab one of them 5 smooth stones and knock that fool down. That's all it is. The enemy's
time
always
is
going to
coming.
come. The enemy's always going to come and speak the loudest. He always has the most bravado. He always is full of lies. He's been a liar from the beginning and a murderer. That's what the word says. And I cannot wait. And see, the way you do it is you be strategic, just like David was. David didn't come all out like, oh, what's good, what's good, what's good. He was just like laying in the cut. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine? What? Boy, please. He went down in that bag and grabbed one of those stones and whoop, pow, took that giant down. And then he said, you know what? And just a sign to the community, let me walk over here and grab this sword and take his head off too. Because I need to let y'all know that the God of Abraham still lives.
Hallelujah.
I'm telling you, when I watched this interview, y'all, I don't know if it's just the church in me, but I kept seeing so many parallels with the word of God. And I was just like, oh my God, this is such an amazing story. And I'm like, you know, I hope Harry and Meghan take heart, be encouraged. Don't stop. Do not be defeated and don't get backed into a corner in silence. That's what the enemy's objective is to steal our voice. But they're already showing that it's not going to be that easy to take me down. They are formidable opponents, and I am confident that they got this in the bag. I'm so churchy, y'all. Let me get off here because y'all ain't even.
Yeah, we're about to start giving you some offering.
Let me get off here.
Look. We're putting the plate around. Wait for
I'm
the
out of
plate.
here.
We're
I'm out of here, y'all.
You know, the
I'm out
offering.
of here.
The offering's going around. Wait for
No,
I'm out of here.
No, Sinead, it's all good. It's all
I'm
good.
gone, y'all.
Wait for the honorarium. We're
I do
sending it
too
round.
much. It's my fault because we just had Bible study too. I do too much. I'm okay.
Oh,
You did
no,
just
you're
enough,
good.
girl. You did just enough.
You're good. I want to bring up. Kojo, can we talk about Australia tour?
The moment. Yeah. Go for it. Yeah.
And
let's
how
do the tour.
symbolic that is. So for anyone who's watched The Crown, right? Because there were a lot of people who were talking to me like before I hopped on this live, who were like, there's stuff that they weren't getting about the interviews, like a lot of context that they weren't getting. And honestly, if you watched that interview yesterday and the stuff you didn't get, honestly, either go to YouTube and watch Diana interviews, or just make life easier and more entertaining for yourself and just watch The Crown. A lot of the gaps will be filled out, right? So the Australia tour is like this major royal family tour that in the past, in history, if we were to take a step back and just go back in time, that was the first tour that Diana and Charles took after having William, right? So Diana was a new mom, and this was her first tour, and they made them go all the way to frigging the end of the world, which is Australia, and it was a mess. Like, she was tired, she was dehydrated. They wanted to separate. They wanted her kid to be on the other side of Australia, her baby that's just a few months old, to be on one side of Australia while she's on the other side of Australia. And she kicked against that. And she made such a ruckus that, how can you separate me from my child? And she was really young. I don't think she even 20, 21. Like, she was really
young. There's a big gap between her and Charles as well.
A huge gap. He married a child bride, but that's
yeah.
But she was really, really young. And so this Australia tour, despite the fact that she was dehydrated, despite the fact that the schedule was gruesome, despite the fact that she really didn't have too much training on any of these things. So what Meghan said is true. They didn't really give them formal training. She didn't have too much training, and so she had to wing all of this. Despite all of that, she ended up being the star of the tour. Like, people gravitated towards her. Diana was that's what kind of skyrocketed her into people's eyes, was that Australia tour. And that Australia tour also was supposed to be Prince Charles establishing himself as a monarch, establishing himself as one of the heads of the Commonwealth. So Diana wasn't supposed to be the star. Prince Charles was supposed to be the star. So the reverse happened, that people would Prince Charles would show up somewhere by himself while Diana is like maybe on the other side of Australia.
And where is she?
Where's Diana? Where's Diana? Where is she? Or they would both be walking down the street. So you know how you have pictures of a royal, they'll have the husband on one side and the wife on the other side of the street, and sometimes they'll cross over to the other side. So if you are on the side of Prince Charles, you'd be like, where's Diana? And if you're on the side of Diana, you felt like you won the lottery. Right? So it became very clear as a result of that Australian tour that Charles was not going to be likable. People didn't really care about him, and Diana was the star. Now, any wise handler of a tool, of a skill. You don't look at your knife and say, why are you sharper than my hand? You take the knife and you use it for what it's meant for. You cut. Now, Charles had Diana, who was loved by the people. And if he was a wise man, he would have said, how can I use this to establish myself as a monarch? I may not be a people's person. I may not be a people pleaser. I may not be, congenial. But how can I leverage this woman who is one with me as being that? No, what Charles did instead was he became jealous of Diana and proceeded to then make her life hell after that. So he was like, all bets are off. He went straight to Camilla, was calling Camilla on the phone while they were in Australia. It wasn't while they were in Australia that she discovered that he had given Camilla a wedding gift when he got married to Diana. There were so many messed up things that Charles did to passive aggressively go against Diana as a result of her popularity in that Australia trip. That's the background. Now, fast forward 2019, 2020, 2018, 2019. Now, Meghan is now the underdog. Meghan comes into the royal family. They don't give her any training. They don't tell her about nothing. And they release her into Australia. Now, they're expecting her to do badly because she doesn't have any training. She's an American. She's like uncultured. And what happens? Meghan wins everyone's hearts. It's a replay of the Diana Charles scenario. Now, the difference is that she's with Harry, and Harry couldn't care less if she's the more popular one. He loves it because it means if she gets love, he gets love. They're a couple. But everyone's talking about Meghan's, and she was like wearing the most basic of dresses. Everyone's talking about her simple dresses and making it seem like it's the best thing since sliced bread. Like, she gets more press coverage than Kate and William ever did when they did similar tours. Once again, instead of the monarchy to then look at the tool and say, we have this sharp knife, let's leverage it. Instead, they decide to go full throttle in sabotaging Meghan because they were jealous of her. And it just makes you think, like, just sit back and be like, we talk about Charles to this day and what a wuss he is, what a disappointment he is, how small and petty he is. But Charles is a product of his environment, because if you go back to the crown, you realize that Queen Elizabeth and her sister, remember, they were like night and day. And Elizabeth was the one who was proper, and she was the one who, had the crown. And her sister was the one that people loved. Her sister was the one that was glamorous. Her sister was the one that was able to salvage the treaty between America and Britain. And instead of Queen Elizabeth to leverage that, she constantly sabotaged her sister. She did not give her sister an official role. She kept promising her sister that her sister will marry the man that she loved and kept sabotaging that. Charles is a direct descendant of that. The queen that we look at, this cute, frail little woman, created the monster that we do not like in Charles, who then was the one that sabotaged Diana and then tried to perpetuate that toxicity with Meghan. I'm going very long-winded and connecting all the dots, but that Australia trip, the reason why they brought it up during that interview was to show the parallel of how the royal family turned against Diana and how they turned against Meghan. It was from that point onwards that they realized, if Meghan gets the heart of people, we're playing a losing game. They never for once thought of Meghan as an asset, because the royal family does not think of anyone who was not inbred, indigenously raised from them, as being an asset. Anyone who comes from outside, even they're so myopic, anyone who comes from outside is considered a threat. They're so small-minded. It is crazy.
She's a foreigner and she was a visitor and she's black. That was it, period. But what saved her is the man who married her loved her. Charles didn't love Diana. He was coerced into using her because the woman he loved, I think, was she with someone about to marry someone, whatever the story was. And so he was prevented from marrying Camilla. But he went back there. So, Charles broke some rules too. Little rules, but he broke some stuff too. Because he wanted Camilla to begin with, but couldn't have her. Didn't have the balls to fight the establishment, which has been there. Or maybe the establishment had more power. So I think the story here is that he never loved Diana. Diana was merely a tool. She was beautiful. She was the right type of blood, and she was able to bear children for him. But that's all she was. And to imagine the person he brought on as a tool was now going to steal the only currency he had, popularity. He let the establishment get to her.
Yeah.
It was really that. And Diana knew that, I guess in the beginning, she was wide-eyed. She was 19 when she met him. She was marrying a prince. She couldn't believe it. She was a school teacher, like, was nursery. She's the kid, was used to teach kids then. And so to come to that level, but this was her destiny, because can you marry? Yes, she was Lady Spencer, but she was merely just a school teacher who now became a princess, and a princess of people's hearts. That was her destiny, because God wanted to help this line somehow. Because like you said, I didn't even know that other story from, Elizabeth and her sister, but there was something to now break this chain. He was like, enough is enough. And so Diana was the wrench to begin this journey, because then that's how it happened. But it's sad. I hear what you're saying, but if you think about it, not the monarchy, but the tool behind the monarchy is it's a beast. And they're thinking of self only. So if it doesn't involve me, them, me, myself, and I, then you are a threat. I don't care how great you are, how useful you are now a threat to my existence. So this is a fight for who's more, because it's about power and money. And for them, the popularity is power and it's money. So they will kill for this. People kill for less. So it makes, what you're saying makes perfect sense. But from what you're thinking from a different angle. These people are scrambling for what's me, and mine. The popularity of the people is power, it's currency, and that's all that matters. And ultimately, the people in this establishment are racist. They believe in the purity of blood, what they call blue bloods. They've been commoners, they've been coming in. And then now you'll bring a Black person into our establishment, and then heaven forbid she now gets the Diana popularity. Oh, come on now. They weren't going to let that happen.
You're very, very right, because it just dawned on me. You're very right, because if they had continued to allow the people who had the people's hearts continue to thrive in royalty, then that is easily the democratization of monarchy, and that is the end of monarchy.
Done.
If you let people choose who they love, then it means it's the end of the royalty.
It's now democracy. Yes. So it's done.
Democratization of monarchy. They couldn't let that happen.
So they're fighting.
They have to
tooth and nail. Fighting tooth and nail.
Just to add some context, so because you spoke about Charles, and I think you have to like, I like what you did. You went back to the beginning of that. So for Charles, unfortunately, he when Harry says he was that his father's trapped, Jenny, is true. If you look at the history, you can go onto Google, you'll see it all there. From the moment Charles was a young kid, he was always trying to rebel. He just didn't have the balls to do it all the way. Like even the school he went to, he didn't want to go to the school, right? He had to fight tooth and nail, and his mum wouldn't allow it. So he's always been fighting against the grain, and it gets to a point where either you break and you win this war, or you surrender and say, I can't do it no more. And so unfortunately what happened is, when obviously now the Diana situation came and he actually wanted Camilla, he just did what a controlled abusive relationship happens to. What you do when you don't know what else to do, you react, and he became actually almost like an abuser. Because when you do what you did to your wife in that moment where you're now playing with another woman, and instead of just being honest about it, you're playing with another woman, gaslighting the situation, making this woman feel like she's crazy, right? Prince Charles, please don't cut my head off. But like doing all this kind of stuff, right? When you start doing that, you'll realize that actually it started from a very long time ago. Very, very long time ago. And it's now got to a point where it's coming to this head. Not even just that, his mom doesn't even trust him to be leadership. Listen, because he doesn't have it in him. Do you understand? He doesn't have it in him to do what he needs to do to lead anyway. They don't trust him. You know what I'm saying? They don't trust his ability to be able to lead. Andrew's another one. They don't trust him either. In fact, the two sons that she's had, both of them are, if in terms of leadership, look weak. And they don't fit the role of the type to be kings. You understand? This is why they want to almost skip it to get it to William. Do you understand? Right?
They're skipping. They're skipping.
And William too, and you mentioned it, there was a little, it came out, but the press had to kill it quick. It came out where there was maybe a little bit of a misdemeanor where he was not being faithful to Kate. Okay, all right, but they had to shut it down real quick, right? And so he's almost following in the footsteps of his father. The head two as well is following too. So he's really following the footsteps of his father. So what we're seeing from Harry is, like you were saying, the only one to kind of break away from the following of those patterns of behavior. But it's really interesting that they making that parallel with Meghan and Diana, and I think it really speaks to the fact that when these guys are born into this, and the issue with them is that naturally they almost feel an entitlement that they should be loved. it must be very hard to understand how someone can come into your fold and be loved more than you. You are born into being loved. This is the role of a royal. You are born to be loved, and you get to a position and you see this commoner who you brought in. You brought them into the fold, not no one else. You did it, and then now they are the one that's taking the limelight. So the pride that you have, what you're born with, suddenly is kicking up and cause an issue. And now you can't respect the person getting the limelight because it's like, how can they be loved more than me? I'm born to do this, and the very thing I'm born to do, I cannot do. That must be. I mean, I'm not thinking I wonder what's going in their brain, because if you're born to do this and you can't do what you're born to do,
what are you going to do?
There must be mad confusion in man's
You
head.
go to school.
Exactly. You train from birth to do this. So
it's even sorry. It's even more than an entitlement. It's kind of like a need. It's like if they don't have the love of the people, then they are literally at risk at being turned completely out of their homes, out of their livings. They are just our live Barbie doll, Prince Charming dream house set. And they feel the need and the responsibility to act accordingly. And it becomes oppressive because people are not dolls, people are not robots, they're actually alive and they have feelings and thoughts. And but if they don't do that, if it becomes, there's like this sickness that we want it to be a little bit drama filled, but nothing too dark. So they're always riding the line. But if you're riding that kind of line, it easily goes dark. But they have to have the love of the people. I mean, monarchies get run out every day. They have a long history of death by beheading. You know what I mean? It's like, get you out of here, get the next family in. They know how bad it could get, and the press has turned on them before. I did watch The Crown. That's why I'm so taken aback by how surprised people are acting at this notion that they could be trapped in their own opulence.
Right.
Nothing about this ever seemed. When I was little, I liked all this Disney princess stuff. I actually got like books from the library on like real, like written from the perspective of a princess back in the day. Life was trash. It was so dirty. It was not glamorous. They were very much just pieces of property to be traded strategically between men. That is still what it is. It is still just you're just a person filling a role. When he said, "Oh, I still have to bow to my grandmother because she's still the queen," it's like, but that's supposed to be fake. You know what I mean? Like, it's not supposed to be like who the person becomes.
Which is, she means Nigerians, please.
We bow.
We bow, please.
We bow.
She's got no excuses, Meghan. Meghan, you should know how to bow.
Elders,
come on.
We bow. So that wasn't out of the ordinary for me hearing that. That's normal for some of us.
Okay.
Yeah, like cultures do actually accept that. Yes, some cultures, like, your elders, you'll curtsy. The men actually kind of double it, they'll kind of spread out. Like
so I would be exactly like Meghan. I would be like, I didn't know. Somebody had to teach me in the car on the way over here so I don't embarrass all of us.
Right.
Exactly.
She was completely out of her range. But you said something that struck me. Like, you know what, if I think about it, the establishment is fighting for their life. Because if you think of some of the other countries where they've dismantled monarchies by killing all of them. So at this point, they are fighting for their lives, because I think it was Iran, some of the other places where they killed the whole line. The people got tired of them being up there and them being down there, and finally overruled and went in and killed everyone in the palace. Those who escaped with their lives, escaped with what was on their back. And so to them, they are fighting for their lives. So they will do anything up to killing. So when you put it into that context, they're fighting for their lives because they're trying to keep it.
Harry's the new model.
What do you do?
Let go, yo. Let it go.
Normalize Harry's. I want Harry's normalized. I want to see more Harry's in the world. I like that spirit. I look at how everyone in the quote firm is, from what we see. It's very robotic. It's very void of emotion. It's very cold. And then you have this heartbeat, right? You have this fire, this spirit that comes out. You see it in his mom, you see it in him, and it's like, it's revolutionary. They come in from such a different kind of like from a different plateau. Like they're supposed to be like this, but they're so different. They're so not the quote norm. And it's like, I love that spirit that it is bucking up against the regime, so to speak, and it's not afraid either. I love that. Harry is such a such a brave young man. And I want to see more of that, normalize that. Harry is coming in with so much fire. And I do believe, I know that his mom tried in her way, but I mean, Harry's got this edge on him. It's kind of like it's like Diana 2.0.
Yeah, her spirit
You know what
lives
I mean?
on. Yeah,
Absolutely.
her spirit lives on.
Her spirit
She
lives on, and
continued.
it's like enabling him to just press forward. And I absolutely love it, and I would love to see that normalized. So many people will just sit in silence and end up succumbing to their regime, but it takes guts to be a Harry, and I think that's admirable, and I just applaud them.
Yeah. Go for it, Max. Sorry, Max was going to say. Go for it, Max.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna highlight two things. I'm probably gonna jump off because again a bit later over on this side.
Oh yeah.
But I would say that it's they're led by fear, and the most dangerous fight is the fear-led fight. Yeah, because nothing's off the table.
Yes.
And so when they're dealing with Harry, they try to incite fear. We're going to remove your security. We're going to take away all your titles. We're going to take away all you worked for when you went to, you know, that's all they know. All they can use is fear. That is their only weapon. But then when the Bible talks about no weapon formed against you shall prosper. In this case, it's almost brought to my mind like immunity, because there's a certain shift in his mindset that allows him now to have the weapons thrown at him, but to now become immune because he's not led by fear. So he's changed his mindset, he's changed the MO, he's changed his way of living, and it's freed him. And we made some point about parallels before between Diana, Charles, and Meghan and Harry. But there's another parallel that I want us to bring up as well: the British Empire and colonialism.
Hey.
Mm-hmm. The same way a few days ago, Ghana was celebrating Happy Independence Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We all got our independence. Nigeria, we got our independence. Harry's getting his independence. It's his independence. The same system we get to be freed from. It's still the British Empire in their home.
Violent.
We have to
Take it by force.
as much as we don't, as much as the people who maybe don't want to sympathize, if you come from this kind of background, a colonial background, oh, you get it. Oh, you get independence. Oh, you get it. Americans, what's it, July 4th? Oh, you get it. Oh, you get it. Okay, so let's not act like we don't get it. We get it. And when he went to go and get his independence, so shall we should support that, you know, so shall we make room for that and celebrate the fact that we needed our own independence. We needed our own autonomy as human beings. Why wouldn't he need that too?
Right.
So yeah, that's it from me. Thanks for letting me keep on, guys.
I appreciate you, man.
So
Love,
good.
man.
Max, we'll see you later.
Just to piggyback off of what Max was saying, I took a note. If we're running with this, you know, seceding independence analogy, there are people who don't want to leave the monarchy because that's all they know. It's familiar.
Baby elephant syndrome.
Yeah. You don't want to leave because that's all they know. And then here you have Harry trying to leave. Well, he wasn't even trying to leave, honestly. He was just trying to step back. And they punished him. The punishment didn't fit the crime. They were like, can we just step back? And it's like, okay, if you want to step back, you don't get to have a say. They were trying to pass a message saying, you don't get to have a say, because if everyone in this family gets to have a say, then the family loses its power, that autonomous power where one or two people are pulling the puppet strings. If people it's once again the democratization of the royal family. If people even within the family get to have a say as to their own destiny, then the family itself, the structure, loses its power.
Yeah.
So here you have Harry and Meghan saying that they want to take a step back, and they're like, no, you don't get to take a step back. So because of that, no dinner for you. You're going to sit outside there. You know,
such an African way of looking at it. That's what they were doing.
They decided to because to Max's point, the British Empire, that's what they've been doing. If we didn't give them enough cocoa, they would punish us. If we didn't give them enough oil, they would punish us. And when I say us, I mean the so-called Commonwealth.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back and talk about the BS that is the Commonwealth. Okay, now in 2021, I'm going to take a step away from the family now and talk about the Commonwealth. In 2021, when you watch the British family, the royal family, talk about the Commonwealth, you think it's like NATO. You will think it's like the EU. You would think it's like a trade organization of countries with mutually shared interests that are doing it to the benefit of each country. No, the Commonwealth is not that. The Commonwealth is, if, let's take, for instance, let's use America. If Thomas Jefferson owned slaves and refused Abraham and say the South, right, won the Civil War and people were still slaves to today. And instead of calling them slaves, he just decides to call them servants. That's the Commonwealth. It's another name for a same toxic colonial master colony relationship. It still all benefits the crown.
Yeah.
If you go up, I went to Barbados a few years ago and I was disgusted because I was like, how can a whole country seem like an amusement park? Everyone who's an indigent of the country is a service staff, owns a restaurant, and then everyone who is a patron is white, from Britain specifically. That's what the Commonwealth gets you.
Yep.
As a Brit, it allows you to turn the whole world into your amusement park, where indigents, the slaves, are now your servants. So let's get this perception right. When they talk about the Commonwealth of Nations and this family, it's rebranding. As Nigerians would say, oh, now wash. It's rebranding. But the reality is that there is no Commonwealth. It's just a siphoning of wealth
to them.
Into the British monarchy. There is no Commonwealth. What they refer to as Commonwealth is that common ancestry of slavery, of colonialism. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Right? So now let's take it back to the British family, to the royal family. So if that's how they look at their colonies, Nigeria, Canada, Barbados, all these various islands and countries that were once slaves, if that's how they've rebranded it to call it now, we're a family of Commonwealth nations, to the point where Meghan's veil has the Commonwealth nations powers on it. They've made it sound all nice. Within their family also runs this Commonwealth operative, right? So Harry can't say, I want to take a step back. How dare you? You're supposed to be working to feed the machine. So if you don't do what the machine wants you to do, we're going to punish you. And the punishment is not going to be commensurate with the crime. They take a step back and instead they push them out. They say, you're not going to get the title. Because what are you going to do without the title? You can't work. Who are you if you're not called Your Royal Highness?
Just your bag completely.
Right. Harry, right? But now, and that's why Meghan made it a point to say, not only are they surviving, but they're thriving. See, everything that was said in that interview was calculated. Meghan said they're not just surviving, they're thriving as a flare, as a signal to say, look, all of you other folks who think you have to keep bearing the monarchy on your back in the family, and that's what Harry meant by trapped. If you think you have to keep bearing the monarchy on your back, there's life on the other side. There's life on the other side. You don't have to keep begging for titles. You don't have to keep branding this slave master indentured servant in the name of family as a family. There's life on the other side. And that's the biggest fear of the monarchy, that if folks realize that if they step out, if you tell people that outside is polluted and they step outside and they can breathe fresh air, they don't need to wear masks, and they realize that you've been lying to them, everybody's just going to run outside.
It's the Matrix.
Yeah, so there are people who are within the British royal family that want it. They need it. And it's not just the family itself, it's the firm. The
machinery.
The people who make money from souvenirs every time someone gets married, the people who make money from the clothes that get sewn, and the people who make money from the china that gets shined and the silver. It's a whole machine. So we're looking at just Harry and we're saying like, oh, how can you shun all of this? It's an oppressive machine.
Yeah. Completely agree. And that's why they will do anything to continue. Because I guess somebody said to me, what movie came out? When it was the Wakanda movie, when I had a friend who would just call, you'd go into a flight to Nigeria, to Lake, anywhere in Nigeria, and used to talk about the colonizers. Where you see colonizers, that means there's money. And then there's somebody trying to monopolize that flow of money. Still, I mean, think about businesses in Nigeria. So if, for example, if you go to a country like, UAE, some countries in there, for example, Dubai, where we all flock there, all the natives barely do any work other than maybe immigration. But the people who do the menial jobs are all the foreigners. But it's flipped in other countries. And so pretty much for us who've been colonized, even though we still have our independence, we're still colonized in our minds. Because the people I said that were criticizing these people still, so they don't think they're oppressed. They think they've got these little toys to keep them occupied or keep them distracted while this machinery continues. So yeah, I mean, hopefully people will be seeing, because still it boils down to me, for that movie The Matrix was just so profound for me because it really made sense. People are distracted by things and they're really not paying attention. They don't even know they're still colonized. They don't even know they're still stuck in the system. They don't even know they're trapped. So of course, I feel like Oprah asked that question in surprise, merely just to enhance the interview for the audience, because she understands and she knows, but she didn't want us to infer. She wanted it to be clear. So she asked that question.
Clarifying the
No,
clarity.
no, she was actually surprised. No, she was surprised because I watched the clips this morning. They were unseen clips. They also and then Gail King also interviewed Oprah.
On
And
CBS this morning. Yeah.
Gail asked Oprah, like, what were the things that surprised? And Oprah said the skin tone comments, which we haven't even touched on yet.
How would she be surprised by that, though?
No, she wasn't surprised. So then a white guy who was also interviewing with me said, Oprah, were you surprised about the comments, or were you surprised that they told you? And Oprah said, I was surprised that they told me. So the skin tone comments was one. And then Oprah said the fact that Meghan said she was suicidal, like she actually, and that's why Oprah said she had to keep asking questions about that, because she wanted to clarify that it wasn't just I was feeling bad, but it was that I actually had concrete plans in my mind of suicidal ideations. That's two. And then the third thing was that Oprah said she was surprised that Harry felt like he was trapped. She was like, this is all you've known. How can you feel trapped? So she was actually surprised.
I'm surprised she's surprised because we know everybody before her has had Diana. That's why she was bulimic for 10 years. She felt trapped, both physically and, emotionally, her mind. She couldn't do certain things. She was, even when she left Charles, she was still trapped until they killed her.
Yep.
So it's like, it's,
both of them.
Yeah.
She was being choked out.
Yes. Yeah.
That spirit was choking her voice out.
Exactly. But that spirit was not killed. That's the beauty of this whole story here.
Yes.
Her spirit was not killed. It continued. And look at it. They're gaining a victory today.
I love it.
And we're talking about it.
I love it. The body is gone. It's perished. Yes. Okay. But that spirit. Oh, baby. And you know what I love too? Because the successor always outdoes its predecessor, right? Harry's got to go further than Diana. It has to, just by right of how things work.
That's how it works.
When Elijah went up and Elisha caught it, who did more miracles? Elisha.
Yes.
So we can expect it. We can expect it. It has to happen.
Yes.
I love that point. Kelvin, you're on the board. Talk to me, bro.
Damn, somebody new.
Yeah, sorry, he's been there. It's my bad. Kelvin, you there, bro?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, bro.
How's everyone doing?
We're good. How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, you see, all you guys are on like a preaching streak. Like, I see you guys, man. Listen, the memes that you were showing at the beginning was so funny. Like, I told you, that was hilarious.
I appreciate it,
I mean, you guys have said a lot of stuff, said enough. A lot of stuff. I'll just add up to and say, yeah, it's basically the idea of, as you said, you don't mention earlier as well, it's just the monarchy. Because imagine someone like Archie growing up. Obviously, he's gonna at some point identify that he's got black in him. So as he grows up, he's gonna resonate more with our black people, and he's gonna be able to relate on some sort of level. So what then happens is it kind of opens him a bit more to attract the black demographic towards the royal family. And that is something that they don't like. So they don't want an open space for that to even happen. And that's the reason why they're making all these nonsense and all that stuff. I've got a question for you guys though.
Okay.
Why do you think William is not as calm as Harry?
Not as calm.
What do you mean by calm?
When I say calm, I mean like he's not. How do I put it? Why do you think he's not more accepting of the whole situation with his brother?
He's more controlled, I think. Harry's always been a renegade. He's always done his own thing. And so this is not totally unfamiliar to him, I think. And also, I think the biggest thing too is William is closer to the throne than he is. So maybe there was more control over him. 1, 2. There's still that rumor that maybe Harry is not, Charles' son. We don't know. But it's like so many little things here. But Harry has consistently done his own thing. William, less so. So it's still something hard. Him doing this and breaking out like this is not a small thing or something to take lightly. So it still took some extra from him, but he's used to being a little outside the box. William has always stayed within the confines of that circle. He hasn't come out of it. He's been kind, he's been done, But the mantle can only be passed to one person, particularly in that line. And it looks like it was passed to Harry. It looks like it.
Yeah, I just feel like they're trying to make it look like nothing is happening, and it's so funny because if everything was okay, they wouldn't have to move, would they? Everything would have been a nice kumbaya thing going on, and we wouldn't hear nothing. We didn't really hear like Meghan. They went ahead with Meghan. They were going crazy on her just at the beginning, and I kind of saw this coming. I was like, okay, so this whole thing happening, I'm not too surprised about it. Because it was like a huge thing. When I first saw it, and I remember one time I saw in the colours and I saw Meghan with Harry, and I was like, like this is crazy. I think Lola, you said something that was really important. You said the beginning. You said something about how like in terms of racism, it's a bit more subtle in the UK. Like
that's right. Yeah.
Which that's really true because it's like, as you said, you're in your bubble. The moment you try to breach and you try to go to a higher level, that's when you really see it.
You get hit back.
Exactly, that's when you get hit back, and it happens to a lot of people. There's a lot of artists that have been through that, so it's a tough thing, to go through. But I just feel like Piers to just calm down, man. He's just too much. Like he's just doing too much. Like sometimes he makes sense, but this whole thing, I've never been on his side on that. He's just calmed himself down. I don't know how much they're paying him, but he seems to be pretty much doing a good job because, he's on them, man. He's really on them. I just hope that they're both happy, and I think that's a big thing with Harry. He realizes that, and he really loves Meghan because to really like go through that, it's a huge thing. It's a huge responsibility. And I think he just didn't sit down and say, I'm just going to marry Meghan. I'm sure he really thought about it before he went ahead with it because he knows where he's coming from. So that's a big decision, to make that decision and to go ahead and even have a child with that person it's more of a difficult decision to make. So they've got a child now. So now he's thinking, and I think that's one thing as well with men as well, or with men that are willing to protect their family. When the moment you have a child, you kind of cuts the line between you and your family because now there's a child, so you have this sense of responsibility for your child. Do you get me? And I'm sure he realizes that, and that's why he keeps on repeating that. He cares about his family, and that's what he's got now. So if he had to weigh between his family with the responsibilities or these certain codes that they have to abide by through their monarchy or whatever, I think he's going to pick his family, and that's what's going to make him happy. And I am not mad at the man. If he do his thing, I'm just happy in America, and they're really in a space. Because the UK is not that big, so they'll fish him somewhere. If they're in the UK, they'll find him somewhere because the UK is not that huge. But yeah, man, I just bless them. It's just sad that he's not talking to his dad and his relationship with his brother. That is a huge thing to wear on you, man. That's a huge thing to wear on you. But the royal family, sometimes I don't get them though. When they're doing all these, don't they realize that as the kid grow up, they're gonna see this because this thing is not going nowhere. Like this is what's happening. Like what just happened? That interview they had, everything that's going on, it's not gonna get ripped off on the pages of history. It's gonna be there when the child grows up, so they're gonna see all these stuff that's going on. So I don't know. I think Kenny, you said that about. You made an analogy about the tool with the knife and that. I feel like that's a really important stuff. Like they could have just ushered her well and just welcomed her. But clearly they did not do that. If they did that, this whole thing wouldn't have happened. The sad thing about it as well is that the queen, oh bless the queen, she's she was cute, she's in her little fin and she's always crying. So like when you hear what's going on and you see a picture of that, you're thinking, there's no way. But there's a huge hierarchy going on there and a lot of stuff going on surrounding the queen, and it might not necessarily be something that she's onto, but there is a hierarchy, and even though she's ahead of it, there's those sub ones underneath that are doing these other stuff. Do you get what I mean? So I think that's what's adding up to the situation as well.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
listen, man, I just want Archie to be happy, and I want Megan to be happy, and I just want them to have the second child and just live a happy life, man.
I appreciate that. Safe love, I appreciate it.
Kojo,
Yeah.
your girl is heading to work.
I hear that.
I really appreciate this opportunity to at least kind of, because it's almost like therapy for me, because I was really touched because of the history of this machinery. And also I was kind of hurt by some of my colleagues' impressions who look like me, similar ages, me, similar experiences, but still can't see that they're actually in the matrix. So I appreciate us having this dialogue, and I hope the people in the chat had that opportunity. And like Shanae so rightfully preached, and Kenny, gave us some words and some gems, and Max, that there is something to be learned and something we can learn from this. And I'm happy that it's going to be a process. It may not happen tomorrow, but the ball has been rolling for a long time. And the fact that it's continuing to take storm, even against that machinery that is known as the Buckingham Palace. So yeah, I definitely appreciate this opportunity. Everyone, keep the hope alive. Thank you, man. It was real. Thank you.
No worries. Let me get everyone's final thoughts then. So while we're here,
let me jump in. Let me jump in with my final thoughts real quick first. I wanted to say that for me, coming from a family, very much controlling. Not necessarily with as much malicious intent as the firm, but I really could relate to coming out of a controlling structure and having your voice silenced and not being able to go up against the quote regime. What really spoke to me was that, but if somebody would just be bold enough to just step out and open their mouth, you then begin to realize, oh, the repercussions may not be as bad as I thought there were. You also realize that there's this strength that you didn't know you had in you that was just for this particular time. There was no way you could see it back when you were in bondage. But when you made that first step to step out, it then pricked up in you, and now you're able to push forward into it. So I hope that there's people that were watching the interview that may have been able to relate to that and can see that, like, look, what's the worst that can happen to you? They can't kill you. They cannot kill your spirit. So even if you feel like I'm going to lose everything and I'm not going to have, don't you worry. Step right on out there, because God always makes provision for the vision. He provides for the vision. He will empower you for the vision. He will enable you for the vision. The vision got to get carried on. But who's going to be strong enough to walk up and take it? So just really wanted to add that and say thank you, Coach, for letting me jump in there. So good to see all of you on the panel. I love you guys. Y'all are like my new best friends. Y'all take care. Have a good night. We'll see you on the next panel.
Sis. All right,
bye.
cool.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Yeah. Final thoughts later.
Yeah, I think I agree with everything Lola said, everything Shanae said, and everyone before that. I would just say also to some of the people who are just so hard and cold in their hearts, when they see a story like this and they only have negativity and skepticism, you're probably projecting. You probably feel trapped in a situation and you resent the fact that these two people changed something about their lives to improve their well-being. And if that is your situation, take the opportunity to be self-reflective and be brave and just really step out into your freedom.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us, sometimes we don't understand where that nasty attitude comes from, where that bitterness comes from, where that skepticism comes from. Look at exactly what that person just did and think about if it's lacking in your own life, just so that we can just start to be better to each other.
Oh.
It was great to see you guys tonight.
Appreciate that. Thanks.
Later.
Kelvin, final thoughts. I love how we're going down one by
I
one.
know, and then the
Kelvin, final thoughts.
I'll just say, yeah, man, just adding to what everyone said. Things happen. The whole outline of this soul thing is just being in a situation where you don't even realize you're in, and always finding or something, a catalyst that sort of gets you out. And that's what this is based about. And this could be related to so many different things. It could be in a relationship. It could be in a domestic situation. Abuse. It could be anything else. It could be an addiction. And when you do, it's just have this sense of empathy for people and sympathy and empathy for people, and just don't think everything is just right on the surface, because there's always more to a story. And looking further beyond that surface of a situation and being a bit more insightful and a bit more understanding as well. Because sometimes we see stuff and we just jump ahead and just we like to make noises and stuff like that. And yeah, man, this is what I believe with the situation. Something happened and something was not right. That's why what's happening is happening. Now we might not know all the details, but there was definitely something that was not right. Because if everything was okay, we would not have the situation. There wouldn't be this ripple of different issues arising. So yeah, man, just stay safe, look at yourself, and just always pray you come out of this situation and just learn lessons from it. Thanks again, Coach. Yeah.
No, it's not true.
For sure, orphan.
Lessons.
Hi,
And then there was one, Ken.
I know, just me.
Just you, Ken. They did. Do you know what? They had said something. I forgot to I didn't ask you guys. Tyler Perry, hosting them.
Oh, what about
house.
it?
Someone asked. Someone just asked. We didn't talk about it, so you can add that in your conclusion if you want.
Oh my gosh, there's so many things that we didn't talk about.
I know there's so. Now this is 35 points. I have 35 points. That's how many points I had. Like we didn't even get through.
Tyler Perry put them under the Medea Witness Protection Program. Like, for real, that was hilarious that it kept calling me the Tyler Perry house for 3 months. I was just like, this is too funny. And it's funny because people actually dragged them for the fact that Tyler Perry was housing them. Everything that they did, people criticized them for. Honestly, like Shanae pointed us towards like the spiritual side of things and where we can get stuff spiritually. Matt's pointed us to like the psychological side of things. Lola pointed us to everything. Like there's so many layers to this that it's
so many.
It's crazy. I don't even know if this is a good way to end my point, but it just occurred to me. Aside from the obvious, like there's more to all of this than meets the eye. Like we look at Meghan and we see that in America, like she's white passing, and she could have coasted being as white as she could possibly be. But her wedding
was
blackety
black, like
she got them singing "Swing Low." She got that pastor.
The pastor was singing black preaching, baby.
The royal family was like,
had Philip like.
Like it was so black, and all of us were like, I feel like, please guys in the comments, let me know if I was wrong, but like I feel like a lot of people were confused when we watched that wedding because we were like,
every black celebrity you could think of was there.
Yeah, we were happy, but they were also confused because this woman doesn't look remotely black. So we're like, why is she so black? Power. And then when you realize that they were from the get-go talking about what complexion her baby was going to be, telling her that she's going to have to still be working as an actress. Imagine a working royal kissing somebody else on TV.
Yeah.
To realize that they were actually hazing her from the beginning. They were actually like poking at that, blackness. And she was just like, you know what? I'm going to give you a black wedding. It just makes me really, really feel like there's so much more to this than meets the eye. There's a lot that we were not told, because that wedding was too controversial.
It was doing bits.
It was we could have a whole panel about the wedding, just break it all down. And that was before any
intentional.
It was before Australia. There's a lot of messaging that we didn't catch in that wedding, and the reason I'm sure there's a lot behind the scenes. It's not just the flower girl dresses. There's a lot behind the scenes. Kate was probably complaining that the pastor is too black or something. Like
up to the Queen, like get him off the stage.
Get him off the stage. Lord, he's preaching to the spirit moves. What spirit? Like what? So all that to say, there's so much more than we get to see. I think the plot thickens. This is really interesting. Take the nuggets that you can take from it, but ultimately just enjoy the ride. Because these folks, they're gonna make their money. Let's at least be entertained while we're on this. So that's just it. Nothing deep. I don't have nothing deep.
That's no, man. I appreciate that, man. Guys, I know we could have. Honestly, there were so many points. Maybe we have to schedule a second live, get our points together, and then we can schedule a second live, innit? Do you get me? If we, and then we can really address some of the points because, like I said, I have 35 points. I think I got through like 5 of them. Do you know what I mean? Like there was so many things in that interview that I was like, blood, this, that, and I was just like, do you know what? Maybe we have to schedule like another live and get those points together so we can actually address it because it was some heavy stuff that people can really learn from. So, yeah, guys, honestly, shout out, Harry and Meghan, if you're watching this. I don't know if you will, but hopefully you do get to watch it. And I didn't mean to cuss Grandma and Daddy too tough, okay? I really appreciate them, do you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Archie as well, because with the amount of black friends that Meghan has, he going to be Archinator from now on. He going to have a tag name, okay? He's gonna be up in Step Up 6. He's gonna be doing some stuff.
He's gonna be A-Town.
A-Town, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he's gonna be my Channing Tatum blood, but with a bit more color. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be that guy. Okay. But yeah, appreciate you guys for joining today. We had like 700 people strong. Like that's crazy. Like for royal stuff. So work relationship, royal stuff. So guys, really appreciate you guys for coming through. We'll schedule a second live and then I'll let you guys know when. But yeah, Kenny, I love this, man. Appreciate you. Let's get our notes together and then let's get that second show going, innit? Do you get me? Then man, no. Appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.